Stream. Signal looks good. All right. I gotta get rid of that little rag over there. All right, everything looks good. Uh, good morning. We're getting a little bit of a late start. My name is Nadino. I'm here with Don Stevens. If you see on the board over there, that's what we worked on last week. And if you missed it, you missed a good session. This is Let's Paint and Draw Along. We are trying to maneuver around with certain changes that have been happening. So I'm going to make sure that these links are available so that you are able to watch this that's here. Don, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm about to go run and get that coffee.
Okay, Don's going to get his coffee. You go get your coffee if you haven't already pulled it over. We are going to be doing something that we've done it before, but I wrote it down. Taking something from nothing. Do. Whatever could that be? To take something from nothing. Think about that. I really want you to think about that. Okay. I'm going to put that in the title. Taking something from nothing. What could that be? You know, what is it that we are going to take from nothing? That is the thing. So basically, we're going to be starting with whatever paper you have, Sharpie marker, graphite pencil, pull that over. You have any erasers, get that out. We're going to have a little fun. I hope you
Regular
can.
number 2 pencils. Don't forget that. I hear you across the room.
A regular number 2 pencil, Don says. Sharpener. I gotta find me a regular. Here you go.
I mean, you can use whatever you got, but then don't exclude out that factor that if you don't have none of that stuff you just mentioned, a number 2 pencil will do you fine.
I miss you, number 2 pencil. I haven't seen you in such a long time
You
because we've
know?
been doing Sharpie.
Yeah, but that doesn't negate that you can't use your pencil. That's why I say you got to make mention to that because you don't want people to think that they can't use the pencil and the other things that they're using to get an image to come across. What if they don't
Right,
have confidence to use the Sharpie straight up
right.
and they have to use the pencil first? You know what I mean?
And that's
So
why
yeah, the pencil. And then what if they don't have it or they don't know of it to buy a graphite pencil or a drawing
gotcha.
pencil? So then
Yeah,
they have to know the equivalent. Well, just get a number 2 pencil, the one that you can get from the bank or any other little store that has pencils. You can use that. Just remember, we always all about whatever's around you. That means even the surplus areas where you can buy nice, simple supplies to be able to keep creating. So whether you have the finance or not to go to the art store is not the major concern. The major concern is, can you get to creating? Yeah, with
yeah.
anything that's around you. Pick up the pencil, you can get the drawing. Pick up
Yep.
the pen, ballpoint pen, you can get the drawing. If you don't have the
Yeah.
Sharpie, if you don't have the Sharpie, right, or one of its equivalents that's on the market, right, for a cheap marker, black
Mm-hmm.
marker, then you can use a black ballpoint pen. If you don't have a black ballpoint pen, then you use the blue ballpoint pen with us.
Black, blue, red.
Yeah. Well, the red would be more so like a fill-in, I would say. But the
Okay.
blue and the black looks real good when you do a drawing with it.
Yeah.
Then you can scan it into the computer. You can make the blue
Mm-hmm.
lines gray. Then you can make the gray lines black to have a
Mm-hmm.
solid drawing line.
Right.
Some of the tricks, if you want to know everybody, if you want a real good line drawing from your hand to be in the computer, draw it up 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17, whatever your flatbed scanner can do. Then once you do the drawing, you scan it in, and you'll be amazed at things you can do with that if you understand certain design programs and things like that, and how to make something a vector graphic. And I'll stop there to get my coffee.
He's going,
Yeah.
yeah, he's going to get his coffee. All right. So we're going to do this. We are going to make sure that he pinned. And again, this is Let's Paint and Draw Along. We're glad that you are joining us. Our focus today is taking something from nothing. This is our topic for today. I hope you're excited because I'm excited. So let's see here. We're saying fair.
All right.
Yeah.
Didn't get my coffee yet because it didn't finish making it.
Oh no.
Yeah, sometimes that's how it happens. I thought I pressed the button. I didn't press the button hard enough. So it's okay. As long as it gets done. Let me go rinse out my new cup though. Got another
Okay.
cup. Yeah. It's a Yeti still, but I like this one. It's orange.
Mm,
Yeah. It has a special cap for it. It's Don proof.
mm,
Yeah. So I'm gonna rinse this out real quick. Works real good. I've tested it out in the park.
mm.
I did art in the park for the past 2 weeks, so that was a
Nice.
very interesting and fun thing. I think I put some of the photos up. I didn't put the last photos up from Friday when we had the art show and you show everybody with the artwork or show groups of the artworks. You know,
Mm, mhm.
yeah.
Okay, while this is Don's grabbing his coffee, mm, I'm actually going to be checking a few things to make sure. Let's see. I got to go over. Okay, yes, we are live here. I'm gonna copy it. Righty. So I'm going over and make sure. Oh, wait. Our folks over at Seer. There we go. Okay, I'm live here. Okay.
Yeah. Did you think about what we possibly can do, like a still life or something, or maybe a still
Ooh.
life for Father's Day? Like, what would you just give him for Father's Day? Would you give him flowers like you give Mama?
Wow, that would be something. Would Dad be happy to have flowers?
I don't know. Depends upon the father that you have.
That's true.
Say, yeah, that's what that depends upon. It'd be
Yeah.
quite, but it's just a thought, while
Uh-huh.
we're, conversing and thinking about what can possibly be done when you're dealing with something from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just pretty much pulling your idea right out of space, right
Right.
out of your bubble, right out of what they used to say in the Marine Corps, your brain housing group. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Your skull bucket. You know what I mean? Some of the funny ways I thought was funny that you would hear a drill instructor describe your brain and your head.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I won't do any of the derogatory ones because, that may offend a lot and they wouldn't understand. Not unless they understand that lifestyle or been around somebody in the service, they would understand some of the derogatory terms that you have in the service, and appreciate them.
Right.
If you're not part of that crowd, then it could be very offensive. So I won't do that. But I will say they say skull bucket, brain housing group. And the
Uh-huh.
brain house was the funny one to me, man, because they be trying to sound real like educational, informative, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's like the drill instructor. Well, what was that? Sergeant Payne, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
where the I forget his name, but he played a Marine Corps drill instructor. So it's like having him and he's breaking it down like so in your brain housing group. You know what I mean? That's what I always pictured when I saw that movie. I was like, oh, that's just like one or two of the instructors I had in Paris Island. I remember you wouldn't laugh then because these guys are serious. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. They
But
not playing.
yeah, you would remember when you got the lunch or something or you got the dinner, like, yo, I know he looked crazy, but wasn't that the funniest son of a SOB that you ever saw in your life? Because
Mm-hmm.
you're not from, certain environments. So you're from a city environment or a suburban environment or a rural environment, your farms and stuff. You don't see personalities like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like really a movie person to us until you really see it. And then even some of us, we looked at the person and just started laughing because he didn't seem real. And even
Mm.
when he was punishing you, like, down ups and doing all this physical stuff, you still would laugh because his voice was funny. The whole character was just funny. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, we can do some of anything, everybody. Some of anything, Nadine. It's not a
So
hard one. It's just
no.
that you like more from a source a lot of times. That's what you like. You like a definite source.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's challenging, but this is also challenging as well. So I have to say that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
probably
challenging.
even more challenging because it's from nothing.
Right. And then you have to take something to make nothing come to something.
Hmm.
Because what you know is something. Take that little bit of something that you know, put it into the nothingness, and
Hmm.
something is going to come.
Hmm.
That means if we understand perspective, we can make any type of cup we want to make.
Hmm.
That means we can make any size burger we want to make if we're making a still life based upon food.
Right.
If it's based upon, how would you say, an open scene, like a landscape, then
Hmm.
I would agree. There's some different changes in thought that you can do, but it has to adhere to what your understanding is about perspective. So you see, it reinforces what you already know, like what this did last week. We do all that stuff based upon figures, and then all of a sudden you strip away the source and say, okay, what did you retain? Could you make
Hmm.
up a So it's the same thing here. What did you retain? Could you make up a scene or a still life and a scene?
Mm.
As if you
Hmm.
was drawing a storyboard for a scene in a movie.
Right.
We can do a scene where we're looking over the table off to the beach. We see the horizon line,
Ooh, nice.
and it's a zoomed in view of the table, of the top of the table, and possibly a nice square of the umbrella overhanging a little bit, and the
Hmm.
table, and then there's placements on the table, you know,
Hmm.
of items, maybe a beer. I don't know. We may be at the islands in the Caribbean, you
Ooh,
know.
margarita.
Yeah, martinis and everything else may be all over the table. Don't know, but we could have fun drawing shapes like that if we wanted to, out of nothingness, out of nowhere.
Right.
And you can take those basic shapes, everybody, and then make it the way that you saw it when you went to the Caribbean or you went to the Mediterranean or you went to Hawaii. You know, we or a lot of you guys have been a lot of places. We got to use some of that thought. That's the nothingness because you're pulling it right out of the air, right out of thin air from your experiences. So, ooh, I remember what a palm tree looked like. Let me slide a
Right.
palm tree there. And we're only going to talk about how to place it, and then you can put it in there if you want to. But if you came on live, you can really influence the moment by saying, "Hey, let's do a palm tree. You're live." Oh man, they caught on to what really dictates what we do.
Right.
So if you come live, you know, even some of you newer people that's from the park, because some of the people said they was going to come through
Mm-hmm.
park from when we doing the elder camp,
Oh,
the
nice.
art. So hopefully they'll come through. If they're not, don't worry, I'll get them sooner or later. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Come through, so we can have more live people come through once again. You know, 2 or 3 people come through. We want more. You know what I mean? But we'll take 2 or 3 to build at a time to get your confidence up, everybody. So my
Mm-hmm.
machine beeped. I'm gonna run and go get that coffee now, Nadine.
All right, you go run and get it. I just,
Yeah.
yeah, I just have water. I'm feeling some kind of way, but I just have water. Um, so there you have it. Oh, isn't that something? No, I mean, so I'm going through and actually checking all the other locations. We are on Rumble. Yes, we are on Rumble. Hello to our followers on Rumble. We really appreciate you and love you, sending all kinds of art goodness. We hope you're excited about taking something from nothing with us. We're also on Twitch. We're on Twitch. And we are on Patreon. I can't forget Patreon. Patreon, we're going to be making a slight change with that. We're going to start offering packages that you can jump in and have an experience with us and even be a little more interactive. We're hoping that those who are interested in diving a little deeper will enjoy the process over at Patreon for sure. Um, and then let's see. And if you notice, I had to actually share the link over into on our group page and our main Let's Paint and Draw Along page. Our group page, we have 192 members. We really hoping to get to 200 members by July 4th. That's our goal. Yes, that is our goal. Um, and we are trying to, because the group is private, for private conversations, we want to make sure that our group members are also tapped into the main page. This is what's really important. The main page is public. Uh, and Facebook has made some changes that we have to adhere to their guidelines. And part of that is in order to go live on the page, we have to have at least 100 people. And so that's why you may have seen some advertisements about, hey, can you go over to the page and subscribe? And so now I'm saying, can you go over to our page, facebook.com/Don and Nadine, and join there because that's our live. That's where all the action is going to be happening. And the private group is going to be for special things that we might be doing where we can interact and it's not completely public. So that is where we're going. Don is cleaning up the board. We're about to make some action happen. I got to get my rags. Got to have rags, y'all. You never know. Drop that down. Maybe I'll put it over there for now. So I've got my number 2 pencils, my sharpener, an eraser. I'm a little chilly. Turn that off. And I've got my water. Yay. Hmm. Good, that's good, that's good. We're going to be looking at shapes, line equations, linear equations, i.e. linear equations. Um,
Just say lines, man.
yeah, just say lines. Yeah, we're going to be looking at lines. Uh, oftentimes we're looking at lines and shape.
Oh,
And
always looking,
oftentimes
Nadine, we're always looking at line, shape,
shape,
form,
form,
light,
light,
surface.
then surface.
If
Yeah.
you want to say it that way, you can say line, shape, space, light, and surface. That's what we always observe to create. Now, all those other words, you can throw them in there if you want, but that's the basis of what we're doing.
The
So we
basis.
always understand we're at the foundation.
At the foundation. And then we start talking edges.
Yeah, there you go.
And and I like my favorite line. If edges weren't important, we wouldn't be going to the barber shop.
There you go. You sure
Because
enough would.
you're always asking to be edged up,
Yep, you wouldn't go to the salon and say, "Girl, cut me up tight. Make sure these lines are right. Make sure
right?
my back is right.
Or your eyebrows.
All edged up." You see what I'm
Oh,
saying?
gotta be edged up.
Yep.
That's
The edges
edges.
ain't right. Boy, it's a cursing out coming to that beautician.
Woo, she messed up my edges.
Yep.
Isn't that something? It's
Yep. And that's
amazing.
universal now. We don't want people to think that just cultural. No, that's universal. Every culture on the planet, when they go to the salon, they want the edges tight. They want everything clipped, the edges to be what we will call perfect at that point.
Yes.
Which means edge, which means lined up. Yeah, all those terms. If you go to the barbershop and they can't use it, they're gonna curse that barbershop out.
Woo, you in trouble.
Yep, salon. I've seen it done in practice. You can go on YouTube and see it. Somebody don't do the haircut right. Oh man, it's a fight. It's a fight, man.
And it's art. It is art.
Yes. Some would say the highest form because it's actually form following function at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if that form or that movement of the form of the hair is not moving in the right, direction to accentuate your features, that's a fight. If I push your hairline back to the middle of your forehead, the middle of your head.
Uh-huh. Ooh.
Hey, you guys, if you want to have some fun, just go on YouTube and just put in funny salon reels,
Uh-huh.
funny salon reels, funny barbershop reels, uh, barber antics, beauty salon, beautician antics. And you're just going to see some funny stuff. Some is real, some is staged, but it makes you think about if you're in our nation, which is Keep Creating Nation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in our nation, it makes you really understand the idea of what an edge, like how Nadine brung up, which goes right to line, and how important that is. So
Mm-hmm.
if there's not a straight line in nature, then when we go to the barbershop, we have to ask what we're doing then.
Mm-hmm.
Because a straight line is very important in man's world. You can't perceive a line there. I don't want you to perceive my hairline. I need you to show her my hairline
Right.
is. I'm sorry to drag it out, Nadine, but it is a funny one, man.
And don't
That's
have it all the way back.
right. In the back, I don't want it all the way up, or I want you to fade it properly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or for the women, I need for all my ends to be lined up properly.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to enough situations where I heard enough women that I've been with, women in my family, you know what I mean? Women just because I was walking past a salon and you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
My edges ain't right. They ain't lined up right. I don't like how that's falling in the front. Something ain't right.
You feel like, what happened? Why is my head feel like it's tilted?
Right. You know what I mean? What's going on, sis? You ain't what you do here? You know what I mean? Oh, I
Oh,
can't. No, I ain't paying for this.
oops.
That's some arguments right there, boy.
Woo.
That's an argument. Then you look at the barber or the beautician and say, I hope you ain't looking for no tip. Oh my God. So yeah, everybody, we're just talking about how important once again, lines, shapes, spaces, or forms, as I say, light and surface is very important to your world. And if you use these five premises that I'm talking about, a lot of people use 7 or 13. They're called the principles of design, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But what I pull from them in my experiences in schools and things like this is where all that came in handy, is what really was I working towards when I wanted to translate something.
Mm-hmm.
What am I really trying to do? Well, all right, line is very important. Why? Because it's edges, like how we just went through that whole thing of what
Mm-hmm.
it meant to be in a barber's chair or a beautician's chair.
Mm-hmm.
Or shape is the same way because lines lead into shapes. If you
Mm-hmm.
actually look at what you're doing, like if I was to start drawing on the board right now, I'm drawing with a specific line, right? So let's just say I'm drawing with a specific line, right? Then now, after I start thinking a little bit, I'll say, okay, I want to make it a certain shape that looks like something in my world. But then I wanted to be able to basically, how would you say, perceive space and become an actual three-dimensional item, possibly. Then I may think about what texture, you see? But it's all line and how edges, lines, edges, shapes, and they allude towards form, you see? And I
That
have
looked
what
like a piece of cake.
there you go. That's what I was about to do. I was about to put the round to make believe like it's fudge in the middle or something. You see? And it's just that simple, for real. It's just that. So see how you called it out before I even got finished with it, Nadine?
Yeah, you
And
on
we
to
don't
it.
even, right, and we don't have a table or nothing to it. We have nothing to it. It's
Right.
just a shape, like an emoji,
Mm-hmm.
like an icon. You know what I mean? Like a
Mm-hmm.
symbol. You can put on top. Then look, we can have fun and put Nay. What your graffiti name was Nay, right? Nay Love,
Yep.
right?
Yep. And AI.
Yeah. And then you can have fun with the eye, make the circle for the eye,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And if it was a business, we could say Nay Cakes. You know what I'm saying? I would
Yep.
put underneath and put Nay Cakes. And that would be your logo. You see how simple it is, but it can be very advanced. Yeah. But it's just as simple as that, everybody. How do you take the basic shapes and make those lines turn into shapes, which turns into forms, and
Mm-hmm.
then now you control where the light would come from. So, all right, say for instance, if I said I wanted to come from this way, so I would put a 3D effect on my letters if I wanted to this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going in that direction, right? You see that? And then
Mm-hmm.
now I just put the shadow on the cake.
Mm.
You see, and then fill it in like so. Or maybe fill it in because we're on the board. I fill it in with a scrumble crosshatch idea. See how
Okay.
I did that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then now we can see the difference between the fudge on the top, the fudge in the middle, and what may be the table. Okay, we can take it a little bit further by, well, what texture is the cake, Nadine? You see what I'm saying? We can put a couple of little marks to make it look like a spongy yellow cake or something. You know what I mean? Or a moist pound cake. You see?
I'm getting hungry.
I know, but it's like sometimes the best thing to start off with is drawing food because you won't get angry. Hey, the only thing that'll happen is you'll stop to go get something to eat. I'd rather that than the anger or the frustration of not being perfect because you're
Right.
not going to be perfect. This is all about what you make up. So come on, Nadine, what we going to make up? What we want to do? We want to do that scene we was talking about off the record, like we was at a island resort or something.
Yeah.
looking off the table and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I think that's
Cool.
gonna be, I think that's gonna be hot.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun because we can fuse different things in. So, all right. This is just for everybody, Nadine included. Whatever we put up, you can alter in your space. Meaning that as long as you use the placement that we're talking about for an item, or if we talk about a certain perspective on the scene, then just try to use that perspective. You can put any item you want in that area. You can make it any shape. You can stay with what we're doing, or you can just be a maverick and push forward and make it look more and expansive and add more items on your table if you want. That'll be
Mm,
entirely up to you. We push
mm.
that. We love the Mavericks. We salute
Yes.
all Mavericks.
Be a
So,
maverick.
yep.
Be a
So
maverick.
you want to be that person to push forward? Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. And then please don't be afraid to show us. That's what we've been having problems with.
Hmm.
Everybody, all our Mavericks are gun shy, as I would say. They don't want to show us their items for fear of being wrong, I think. But how could you be wrong on a platform like this when we're an advocate of failure?
Right.
Some people don't like when I say that, but it's like, I'm an advocate of failure. And then one lady in the park asked me why. I said, because through failure, you'll learn what not to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or you'll learn about yourself and what the incapabilities and capabilities are within yourself.
Hmm.
So fail. Don't quit.
Right.
Fail. Because if
Fail.
you quit, that's final. It's like you shot yourself in the head or something. That's the way I look at it when you quit.
Hmm.
That's not Nadine now, everybody. Don't put that on Nadine. That's Don in his little, comic book world. You know what I mean? you know. So, but yeah, it's based upon that.
Hmm.
And there can't be any wrong, everybody, when you're doing this.
Hmm.
So, for purposes of what we're doing, I'm going to put a square up here, and that square is going to represent you guys' page. Okay. All right, Nadine. So you don't have to draw this square, not unless you're doing like how you normally do when you're taking notes, Nadine. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You see here, right? And then we're going to go here and then here. I know you're still seeing the imagery, right, Nadine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. And I might be able to write around it and I'll just slide the camera side to side to be able to get if I'm writing anything extra, okay? And then I'm going to use the blue marker to start it off. Now, the blue marker is going to represent if you don't have the confidence to just go straight with your marker. The blue marker represents if he was working with your number 2 pencil or 2H pencil or HB pencil
Hmm.
or ebony layout pencil,
Hmm.
or just a regular drawing pencil of any H gauge that you want to draw with.
Hmm.
You don't have none of that, and none of that sounds familiar with you. The blue marker that I'm going to use to start the drawing is going to represent that number 2 pencil that's in your hand with the little pink eraser on the end. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. It represents that. Yeah, if you have a drawing pencil and you have a kneaded eraser, yeah, this blue marker is going to represent that movement. And then I'll do the black over top to show how you use the marker over top.
Hmm.
For those of you that's been doing it, Nadine, you can go either which way if you want to, okay?
Hmm.
All right. Look, everybody. First, what I would do is I would say, well, where is my horizon line if I'm at the beach or the shore? So I'm going to make my horizon line a little bit higher up.
Hmm.
You know, would that be too far up? Or should I make it lower? You see? Well, if we put it higher, would that cut down the opportunity of putting things on the water or showing the beach line? Or could we make that view happen even with the umbrella coming down and the table being here for all the items? With that horizon line or with this horizon? I think with this horizon line, if we go here, it'll be more about what's on the table.
Okay.
You see? And I
Hmm.
think with the higher horizon line, it gives us more of an opportunity to put in half and half, half of the
Mhm.
items on the table, depending upon what perspective we go with, and then we can show the beach and then show ultimately the water going away from us with the umbrella coming down over top. All right, let's go for it. So I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go from end to end of the paper and make a round arching shape. See, I'm doing it multiple sketchy times.
Mhm.
That's because I know I'm not worried about one continuous line. The continuous line is that line that moves like this until you're ready to come off the page. I'm saying that's a deadly line.
Mhm.
That'll beat your confidence up real fast.
Mhm.
I've seen people burn through erasers like nothing because of that. Oh, that line is deadly. But this rehash, restated, or sketchy line is the most fun and forgiving line ever. Because
Ever,
it's all
ever,
about,
ever.
right? Because it's all about multiple marks to make you feel a curve. It's
Mhm.
all about multiple marks to make you feel a straight line.
Mhm.
And then once you get it, then you come back with your marker and you can make that a straighter line and erase away your pencil marks. So I'm a fan of the sketchy line. This is the continuous line. I'm just going to say CONT. And this one is our sketchy line. You want that line, everybody. Because with a sketchy line, you can get to a continuous, more focused line. It's just about addition then. Now, if you're impatient and you don't want to do that, then that might be the issue. Another one is, Nadine, we could widen the scope of the table
Mhm.
so it makes it more. So which one would you want to go with? The second one or the first one?
Mm, I don't know. Maybe widen it. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the second position. That's why I show it in the blue, because then this way it's not permanent just yet. So then I can come
Mhm.
in and erase out the other line and see it like, yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Mhm.
Looks like we sitting right at the table, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
About to get it in and have
Mhm.
some wine or something, you see? Now the
Yep.
same thing we can do with the umbrella. We can come this way, right?
Mhm.
Do the same thing, but we can come back and come on the outside of the page and do this idea, that whole ribbed idea. And then from those points, it's a hypothetical point here where this stuff would go to say that the umbrella is there, you see?
Mhm.
And then one from the outside here. So then now what happens is we erase away the lines in the middle here. Look at that, we have our umbrella. You're not going to see the pole. The pole would be probably behind you, just behind you, right down here. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then that pole would be going straight up behind us. We don't want it to disturb the scene. Like the Corona commercials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come on, everybody. Y'all seen those
Y'all
Corona
know the
commercials.
Corona commercial.
Yeah, it has the bottle on the table. The other one is he's sitting next to you have a man and woman, a couple there,
Yeah.
and one of them opens up the bottle and put it up there, and the other one puts the lime or the lemon inside of it.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Yeah,
had to sketch that out before it happened.
all the time. Yeah, that's called a storyboard then.
Yeah.
But think about how the storyboard comes to life off of somebody's manuscript or some a writer's manuscript,
Mhm.
whether it be from the actual book or the play adaptation.
Mhm.
And then you would, the artist would get the manuscript and would, get the points from the director of what scenes they're thinking about using. And then the artist would draw the basic idea of the scene so they can see them before they use any equipment.
Mhm. Yeah, because they don't want to waste the time with people standing around. They got to pay people.
Right. So they'll draw out all the scenes that they're thinking about using between the director and the writer.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's a writing team, and you know I was fortunate enough to do it for small movies, and you would sit there with some of the people and go through the manuscript, and they would
Mm-hmm.
say what the scene would look like, and you would, in those times, you would actually have to draw it the way that the director was seeing the scene. You would put a little of yourself in it, yeah, but mainly you were drawing that scene based upon the director telling you based upon their visions, based upon the writing, the same way we're doing right now, except for I'm dictating a lot of that right now.
Mm-hmm.
We got the horizon line for the water. We got the umbrella up top. We got the edge of the table on the bottom. It's almost a nice setup. Now, what about another line? We can have another line that just shows distance because now we're going to show the transition from VIP space to beachfront to water to horizon. See
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go for it. Where could it be? Well, basically, where I put that horizon line at will be that second horizon line at down here would be a good idea. But I would rather move it up a little bit more and then have it right around here. Let's do it
Mm-hmm.
like a wave. You see how I'm doing it? Now, the trick is if we know that this is center and the camera is there, most of these waves from this center point here is going to swag gently to the left a little bit. You ever notice
Mm-hmm.
that, Nadine, when the camera
Yes.
is like that? And
Mm-hmm.
then from that point over to the right, the waves would do the same thing. They would gently sway to the right. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like that now, Nadine, on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then now you can step up, right? And do like a small line behind that would be like the froth. So then you wouldn't have to worry about that necessarily on the froth or the place that foams up. You see, I'll put it just right like that. And you put a line in between it, everybody that's kind of dashed, because that's the water rolling back. And as soon as I put that line, doesn't it feel like what the beach is doing?
Oh, yeah.
Because that foam, and now you understand what we're saying when we say look at the edges, and now just try to remember it. I'm gonna leave it there for a second. Yeah, I know mine's is kind of diagonal on the board. That's okay. That adds to interest and variety,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But the main idea is that can you have that feeling of something pulling like it's pulling from underneath, going back, and then something on top is feeling like it's rolling over.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at that idea in your mind's eye, or you can go to Google, everybody, if you wanted to, and look at these videos that would show you that how the beach water runs back on itself to be able to flip back over again and run back up on the shoreline.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a pulling and pushing idea. The water on the wavy line that we just talked about is the part that's pulling back now.
Mm-hmm.
That line in the middle is showing the division between the foamy part trying to come over top, you see, and that line trying to recede back underneath of that so that the next wave can come over top of that and splash down on the shoreline the same way and recede and push and pull the same way.
Mm.
Yeah, this is like as I said, I'm starting to get more and more tired saying it because I can see it in my mind, and that's so relaxing just to watch the ebb flow of the ocean or even
Mm-hmm.
a large lake, because a lot of us are around large lakes, you know what I mean, like the Delaware and things like that. And if you get to a certain point where you can watch and hear the shoreline early in the morning, if you're one of those type of people,
Mm-hmm.
you might not hear it in dusk when it's, the lights is going down because the cars are going and it's rush hour and things like that. So you might not hear it, but you'll hear that tranquility that I'm talking about in the way the water is rhythmically hitting the shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, it starts to catch you and you get real relaxed just listening to it. Or you start smiling profusely because you see that's the power of the space that you're in. And that's what gets me sometimes to see, the water, how would you say, fold in,
Mm-hmm.
roll on the shore, and then, irregardless of if a boat's out there disturbing or pushing a wave towards the shore, you still have this rhythmic sound and movement. Shh,
There you go.
shh,
There you go.
yep. Shh. Then you may hear a duck. In our area, you may hear a duck or two, or you're going to hear some birds. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we're still in an urban environment where we're at in Philadelphia, everybody out here. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get some of the ducks because of the way it's set up here, but you won't hear them throughout the day like that,
Mm-hmm.
loud. But you'll hear them though, you know, and there's certain places you can feed them. Like there's a place called Shanks on
Mm-hmm.
Columbus Boulevard going towards Washington Lane in Philadelphia, everybody, if
Mm-hmm.
you're not here in this area. But they have an area there right near, right on the Delaware, right on the industrial side, South Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And they have an area where you can buy a little bit of bread and feed the ducks and the various birds that come out that float on the water. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? It's an industrial city type of situation, you know? And yeah, man. And enjoy the sounds of the waves, the sounds of the Delaware while you eat your chicken cutlet or pork cutlet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sandwich, you know what I mean? With
I'm so
that being,
hungry.
yeah, with that being said, what will we put on the table now? We're going to get
Yeah.
a commercial. Like I can show you how the commercial did it to get our attention. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's always a fun one. Like they would put the bottle front and center right around here. So the height of the bottle will be about here, just like that. See what I did, everybody? I put two dash marks to say where something's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Plumb marks, guide marks. You see what I mean? Maybe I'll draw a hyperlateral vertical line so I can say that bottle is going to be vertical. Say for instance, I'm real concerned about the shape of the bottle. So then okay, with Corona bottles or Heineken bottles, you can see there's a certain circle that's there first. And then with that circle, you can make a line for the neck of the bottle, you see, and then now make the bottle come down like so. So see how we took a couple of shapes, and now you will make that curve on the bottom. So see how that looks close to what a Heineken bottle can be, a wine bottle can be,
Mm-hmm.
you see? And then all you would do is I would erase out everything that is covering now so I can say that's where my bottle will be. Now, if it's like a Corona bottle, then it's going to be hollow, so or transparent or translucent. You're going to be
Mm-hmm.
able to see through to the bottom. So is this a lush table, as they may call it, right? How many beer bottles or wine bottles is on your table? You
Uh,
know?
maybe you have two so that the poor person isn't by themselves.
Over here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Same type of bottle?
Yeah, one with lemon, one without. One with
Okay,
the
so
lemon sign.
we'll move this one down and over just a little bit. You
Mm-hmm.
see how we do that? Same thing we did there, get the placement of it together in our imagination where we wanted to be. If we're worried about it really seeming like it's standing up strong on the table, then we make a
Mm-hmm.
vertical line as a guideline in between everybody. Now, the body of your bottle, I would say you can start with a circle. Some people start with other things, but a circle makes it a little bit more easy for the person that's beginning, and especially
Mm-hmm.
perspective. Because notice, I did these things and we didn't talk about perspective at all just yet, right, Nadine?
Right?
So then that lets you know, everybody, you don't have to be too concerned about perspective. You should be more concerned about your intent, what you want to show the world coming from your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So then there, I would put a circle. See, if I put it higher, I might want to move that higher for a smaller bottle because it might start looking like a wine bottle. But we're
Mm.
going to put the same type of bottle that we have there. Move it down a little bit lower than what this one is here. So then now we do the same routine, put the neck of the bottle there, you see? And now from the size of the circle we made, we come down to that hash line we made. Now, instead of just leaving it straight, we have to represent the curve. So now we just make it a curved bottom, like so. Now, if it's the same type of beer, then we can do this, make that same ellipse on the inside. So it looks like we're looking at it. So then now we would have to put a little bit of this back in their bottle, you see? Because
Mm-hmm.
if it's a Corona bottle, we're looking through it. It's clear, it's translucent, as we might say.
Mm-hmm.
And that means some of the shoreline would be in the neck here. You see? So I
Mm-hmm.
would do this thing here. I would erase here and here, erase this here, 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 then erase and leave the edge of the table shining through. You see? And you see how much quicker we got to that equation this time? You see?
Yeah.
So then now, is there beer in the bottle? If there's beer in the bottle, then we would do the same ellipse that's here, we would do it here,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now if we're saying it's not sudsy because we didn't pick up the bottle and shake it and give it motion, then some of the suds would be along the edge, wouldn't you say, like that? On the inside,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then on the side, like so. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have a line underneath that'll do the same. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the same thing over here, but do it above the table line here. You see? Let's put the froth on the inside where the bubbles would be because you
Mm-hmm.
picked it up and you moved it around to be able to, drink and to put it down. And just those little movements put, froth in the bottom. Maybe a couple of circles this time to represent bubbles. You see? See that?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm. Maybe put where the cap would be and how the cap is off. Is it a twist off bottle? You know? Then the caps would be where? Here then.
Mm-hmm.
That would be here, and probably one cap would be here. See how I just made it a circle?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, everybody. Really look at that, Nadine. Very simple thing we did. I've had people do little drawings like this, Nadine, and they
Mm-hmm.
put them in shows, and they won a little show, and they were so shocked and so happy.
Wow.
They didn't believe that something that they could make up could win something, could get looked at and get some type of attention. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I tell people, you guys, you're missing out. Art's not dead. The
Mm-hmm.
people are, but not art. Because if you don't
Yeah.
see it, you know what I mean? I haven't seen everything. Like I remember one time a professor asked me, he said, why are you thinking the way you think? I said, because how could you say art is dead when, I haven't done it yet?
Mm.
And he took that as an arrogant statement. I said, no, you haven't seen what I can do just yet. So how
Mm.
can art and expression be dead?
Mm.
And I said, every other student in the room, the world haven't seen us yet. How could you say it's dead?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you even tell me that? You know what I mean? Why would you tell
Right.
me it's dead when I'm trying to get a degree to come out here to live based
Right.
upon doing this stuff?
Like bursting
Oh,
your bubble.
yeah, no, not bursting my bubble. I looked at it because I was a commuter student. You're purposely trying to confuse me, and I know better than that because I'm a commuter student.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I know in reality that what landscapes and still lifes are always going to be wanted.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what's popular, landscapes and still lifes are always going to be wanted. As long as a human being is on the planet, they're going to want it. Whether we're painting it, or it's a photograph now, or it's a G clay, or it's a duotone, a lithograph, an etching. Doesn't matter. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Does not matter. Basic shapes and everything still rule the day. If
Mm-hmm.
I put them in certain configurations, you can either get the human being to react. You can do a lot of things because you're attracting human beings.
And
You know.
I guess the
Mhm.
biggest thing is why to ask the question, why are they still of interest to people? And I think it's because it's part of their everyday,
Yes, that's
you
just
know?
human. You want to see a tree. You may not hug it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a known fact. Just for you seeing the tree does something to your being.
Mm-hmm.
You may not like getting in that ocean that we put in there, but just the factor of just sitting there and hearing the ocean and seeing the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
smelling the environment that's there affects your being.
Mm-hmm.
It affects everything about you, all the way down to the way you're going to express.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you notice, until liquor comes out, everybody's pretty much calm at the beach.
Yeah.
Until the alcohol comes out or anything else that inebriates,
Then it's a
everybody,
party.
yep, everybody in the earlier part of the day is very happy, sharing, loving. You can get people from other nationality that you never thought would talk to you at the beach. They're talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Barbecue, that's the fresh barbecue going in the air. Think about it, everybody, when you see something like what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Until those beers come out, it may go left. If you got a whole bunch of truckers at your resort, it may go left.
Yeah.
Think about the populations that. And it's not, no, we're not trying to poke fingers at people. Please don't think that. Then blame it on me. Then don't put that on Nadine. That's me saying this based upon me being out and just I like observing mankind, humankind. I just like observing. I'm not voyeuristic now. Well, I have to admit, yeah, that's voyeuristic if you're just watching people.
Yeah.
But since I'm a figurative artist and everything is based upon a figure for me, then yeah, I'm staring at people all day. That's why a lot of people say, "Dang, Don, how did you have a studio over in that K&A section?" I said, "Man, do you know how many paintings are going down per day that I can't even do? I just see every day." There's beautiful paintings out here. There's ugly paintings too. But if you're not in the environment to see them, to take it and snatch it out of space, then who's going to show it for this time and period?
But it's
Is the
also
king.
saying that some people think there's no art in K&A. There's nothing beautiful to create in art in K&A or attractive or eye-catching or
Well, see, that's the
thought-provoking.
question then. The question is, what is eye-catching? What is beauty? Is a trash can beauty with the right type of light in that area? Because what I've noticed is in that area of K&A where the train is, it's beautiful sunlight in the morning, man.
Right?
Like that's why I started riding my bike everywhere. I can't see it from the car, everybody. You really can't see it from the car effectively because you're too worried about running into something and your deductible going up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to pay no more on that deductible. You don't want your insurance to go up. So you're not really trying to focus on the early morning dew and what that does to the light effect. And like how I'm doing on the bike, I can stop the bike and get to looking and then still have enough time to get to where I need to get. You see what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
you got to be voyeuristic, everybody. Looking constantly, seeing things. You may not be able to get to do everything that you see, but you'll
Mm-hmm.
have so many different references in your mind's eye that the combination of things that you can do will be endless.
For sure.
Yeah. Think about it on our bottles, everybody. Could you put a label on there? You see what I'm saying? Could
Mm-hmm.
by putting a label on there, that'll be so that you wouldn't have to draw that bubble line if that perspective is causing you an issue or brain
Mm.
trauma. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I tell people. I say, if that's causing you brain trauma, put something there. What do you mean? Well, don't all bottles have labels?
Right.
Put your own label right smack dab in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You can just leave the lines on the side. I'll show on one of them. You can show it from both sides. You can show it from one side. That's what I'll do. I'll show the label in here from the other side, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
we'll write that out. Because that's the label on the opposite side. Does it feel like it's on the opposite side?
Oh, yeah.
And now we'll do that same label in the front. And it have to be curved. Why? Because it's on the bottom. And you see how I did it in the front?
Mm-hmm.
It curved down in the front and curved up in the front. In the back, it curved up and the bottom curved up too as well. You see the
Mm-hmm.
difference? Now I erase out all that and now I have my label on the front. See that?
Mm-hmm.
With the table still showing through, with the beer line still there. Even if you think you messed up that beer line or that liquid line, all you have to do is put a label on it. It could be soda, like the original Welch's grape. You know
Ooh,
what I
that was
mean?
good stuff.
Yeah,
A lot of
man.
sugar, though.
Not well, yeah, but they still got them down south. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna lie, I don't drink sodas, but when I go down south, yeah, I treat myself to one of those cream to cokes, man,
Mm.
because they're using natural flavonoids, man,
Right.
and it tastes so good. It's so different than the soda that's up here. So, like once a year, if I get a chance to go down,
Mm-hmm.
I have a soda on
Mm-hmm.
ice on somebody's porch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Chilling, man. You see that, everybody? So now we have the labels there. You can put like the ridges on the top of the bottle if it's a twist off cap.
Mm-hmm.
You can put one ridge there so it could seem like it's a pop cap, bottle cap.
Mm-hmm.
You see? We have two circles there that resemble caps. Could you make it a little bit more? Okay, if it's a twist off, you can do certain things to make it look like a certain thing. Let's see, hold on. Because I don't want everybody to think that that is a limit. There is no limit. You see, like on the bottle cap here, we can just put sides on it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then raise that up and then put some lines on it. Now we have a cap that way, you see?
Mm-hmm.
If we wanted to make it look like it's the type of cap that's popped off, we put that line up top here, but then now we make it wavy,
Mm-hmm.
you see? And then now make it come down and now you have that. Put the lines on the outside here, and now you have that cap, you see?
Mm. Yep.
You just have to remember or try to, how would you say, envision in your mind's eye what that item looked like when you were using it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, whether you drink the beer or not is not my concern right now. My
Mm-hmm.
concern right now is can you remember those shapes that's pertinent to that experience to be able to evoke it, to negate it like how women do, negate emotions and feelings outward. Well, we as men and other people, we can negate these creations out of us like how we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm taking my time with it, Nadine, because we're making it up. Maybe somebody will hit us up and leave us like a message or something and say, yo, add this or add that, or, add a martini. I don't know. Or what about people on the beach? What about a sailboat? That's where I was going to go for a second.
Right.
Can we put a sailboat and then make that sailboat seem like it's way out there? So
Yeah.
yeah, I could use it like triangulation and put one about midway, like so.
Mm-hmm.
Two triangles, just like that, just to represent the sails, and then a little bit of a line underneath to show
Mm-hmm.
the direction that it's going in. Look at that. That's all
Oh,
I
that's
did was two
nice.
triangles. That's it.
Yeah. And the thing is that's what we want to hear. Like, we're taking something from nothing.
Mhm.
And so, to hear from those that are watching right now, what do you think we should add to it? That's our question.
Yeah. Like we added a boat now. We got a sailboat out there. We really looking tranquil. We're not on the Delaware right now. We're not on Cooper River right now. You see
Mm-hmm.
how I'm naming it out? Well,
Mm-hmm.
no, they got some nice resorts. Like I can put some buildings on the other side and it can feel like we're on Cooper River. I would
Gotcha.
just have to put some wetland, I forget what those, I think those are water crescents, those little flowers.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the water in a wetland, because we're in a wetland, everybody. So that means we're in a through area, the barrier that keeps the ocean water out
Mm-hmm.
and fresh water keep on recycling.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a wetland does. The
Mm-hmm.
marshland, the laying areas. If you look at the Delaware Valley, where we at, whether you're in Delaware, Jersey, or Pennsylvania, more namely Philadelphia region,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see that it's all fresh water wetland.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of good freshwater fishing. I sound like a resort, right? You
Yeah.
get a lot of freshwater fishing, bass or wide mouth bass are in the area. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's
Yes.
not true, you guys, if you really just looking to the beauties of the area that we're in and then everybody else in the country, because we don't know how many people we touch. I know we touch people going below the Macy-Dixie line and right around the Macy-Dixie line.
Even beyond. I mean, because there are people that watch us at like 3 a.m. in the morning,
Oh, okay,
our
Nadine.
time,
Right, you're right, you're right.
so we're hitting international people as well. But we
Mm-hmm,
definitely want, what do you think we should do to add to our taking something from nothing art piece here?
mm-hmm.
Don, we got the sailboat in the background. That, he mentioned flowers, particular kind of flower that kind of grows, uh,
You know,
whatever.
wetland. It's the
Mm-hmm.
watercress. Well, just look it up, everybody. But it's that water-based plant that sits on top of the water
Let me see. I
in
can
a
do
wetland area. It's a
uh,
bunch of them that's that way. I know the long grass and all of that, but just think about it when
watercress
you're in your area, and if you're in a wetland, that means that you're not next to the ocean per se. Per se,
flowers.
you see, you're more inland, and it's called a wetland at that point. The area where natural water collects to be recycled, to be filtered. And that wetland is a barrier between the salt waters.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. There's a couple of them coming up. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. And then that depends upon what area you're in too, where some of those plants were dominant too as well, from what I understand.
It could be a watercress,
Mm-hmm.
native wetland
They almost
plant.
look like little elephant ears or little hostas or
Uh,
hostess if everybody understands perennial plants for your house. It's a plant that they call a hostas,
mm-hmm,
and it comes in green and white, and it has an all green one too. And if you
mm-hmm,
look at some of those watercress and those other plants, they look pretty much the same as a hostas that's all green.
mm-hmm,
Every now and then you may see a green and white variety. I've seen them on the Jersey side. I've seen them further down away from Philadelphia region. I've seen them further down. I've seen the green and white ones along the banks of the river and things like that.
mm-hmm,
You know, but it's just good to just get out. If some of this stuff seems foreign to you, everybody, then that means you need to get out into your local area to really look at and question yourself about things, about nature, and about how to make up things and pull something out of nothing based upon your memory. Because your
mm-hmm,
memory is something, but we're pulling it to make something out of nothing. So that something is whatever's in your mind, using
mm-hmm,
line, shape, form, light, and surface to put it down to make, a nothingness situation something.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it sounds like an oxymoron what we're saying, but if you think about it and say it enough, you get it. You be like, okay, you know,
Yeah. What isn't there a song? It's something from nothing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that was a '70s song. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing from something leaves nothing.
Nothing.
Gotta have something.
If you want to be with me.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, Nadine. We can mess up. We can say that's our shower moment when we mess up the lyrics and everything. We
Yeah.
put our words in. Don't you worry. Everybody that really knows me, they would laugh right now because they know how terrible I am on remembering lyrics.
Oh, yeah. I'm
But
not good with lyrics.
it's just like when you're in the shower, you go, leave nothing. Gotta have
Yep.
something. Leave. So come on, it's just like in the drawing. You would fudge something, make something happen in there. You probably never been to the Caribbean. I know.
Right.
Probably never been to the shoreline. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I have one young lady that's in my class on Tuesdays. You know what I mean? I love her to death, Miss Maria, man, and she'll say it quick. I ain't never been there.
Right.
And this is a 90-year-old something person is about to clip over into 100.
Right.
So what do you say to her? Well, we're gonna try to make believe it's a movie. That's where I go. I know you've
Right.
seen it in the movie, and she go, "Yeah, you got me there, Don." Yeah. So I don't care if you ain't been there physically, you've seen this stuff somewhere, an advertisement, a magazine, a book,
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
photo book, somebody's photo book of places they've been. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you've seen it
A
somewhere.
picture.
Something.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other one, I start getting specific. All right, you've seen the shoreline in Atlantic City.
You,
Everybody that comes to this area, you've seen Atlantic City at least once.
yep. So you gonna tell me you never went to the casino?
Thank you. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Now, if you say you're going to the Indian one on Street Road and all of this, okay, those are newer ones. I can't get on you, but so bad.
Right. But you've
But
been here
Atlantic
how
City,
long?
yeah. How long you been here? You been here since the '80s? No, you've seen Atlantic City, my friend.
You
You
have
better stop
seen it.
lying.
The train, the bus, the car, everybody went to Atlantic City.
For something, everybody went down there. Concerts, whatever, especially from the '80s, boxing
Mm-hmm.
matches, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And outside of that, it was just a good old casino. You know what I mean? Bus trips galore,
Mm-hmm.
platinum and black cards going out like crazy.
And they wanted seniors to go there. They give you a free meal or something, from what I heard.
Oh, something, Nadine. I can give you the whole rap. That's why I miss my whole, how would you say, my matriarchal core.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would go down there and imagine being in a bus or in a little van with 8 people that all got platinum cards. See how you're laughing? Because you know what that meant down in Atlantic City. That means you got comped a room, you got free breakfasts, you got the special buffet because you was on the platinum card. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? Then when the black card came big, we had half of everybody that had the black card. So we would get like at least a good 4 rooms,
Mm-hmm.
free breakfast, and sometimes they would give you money to gamble with.
Yep.
So
$20.
yeah, you get 20 or well now what I found out it depends upon how much you used your card. You can get more than that, Nadine.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're a frequent flyer, that means you're on the VIP aspect of it. That's how they had it set up at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine being in a van with half the people are VIP and the other half are still black platinum. So you got the 2 top tiers in the van with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Nadine, I used to have so much fun down there just based upon that system alone and with the elder core. It's really a place for elders to have it's like a elder playground. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
lie. They pass out weak drinks, you know what I mean? That
Right.
can keep you. You gotta watch the people you with now. If they take down 10 weak drinks, that's like, 2 or 3 strong drinks.
Yep.
So you would have to watch all of that. Only reason why I bring that up because we have the 2 beer bottles there. You know what I mean? You have the water there. Notice how I don't have any difference between the water and the land now. So that gives you another opportunity. What can we do to do that? Well, even in some of these commercials, right, that we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
candidly, and
Mm-hmm.
we're having the conversations with it to try to get others to evoke certain things about this type of scene in a commercial or advertisement or a movie. Like James Bond movies started off this way sometimes, didn't they?
Yep.
From what I remember, when it was Sean O'Connery, in that period, they would have a resort, and he would be at the resort with whatever top of the line model was for that era. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be in the speedos running up out of the water. You know what I'm saying? Up to the table that we're seeing like this.
Sit
So just to
down, take the
just to play with
bottle.
the just to play with the idea, you would have somebody that would be over here, looking like he's about to run out of the water. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can see that right there, that would be your person looking like they're coming out the water to come towards that scene. Can you see it right there?
Yep.
And then now in another way, they would have a beach ball a little bit bigger so they would play up the distance idea to say where that ball is. And then make it, it's a beach ball at that point, you see?
Mm-hmm.
You do little slithers, you can make one darker if you want from the beginning. Maybe you pull out your color pencils or something and make it red and white. You see what I'm saying? Now
Mm-hmm.
look at how it makes you feel the distance in the piece.
Mm.
You see? You can even put a sand bucket over here. It's a basic shape and then put a slant on it. It'll look like it's in the dirt. You see?
Mm.
See that?
Nice touch.
So then now we have this triangulation and almost a double triangulation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't understand that, everybody, a triangle type of composition always gives the eye interest because it's running in between 3 points to bring you back, almost like a circle. You
Mm-hmm.
see? And if you notice, I'm pointing everything towards that maple leaf center point that I made. You see? So
Mm-hmm.
once you have a loose understanding on how the atmosphere moves, you can dictate how you want your atmosphere to move, how you want your environment to be set up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that believable for that man to be in the shoreline and this ball to be at this size and this bucket to be at that size? What could you put around the bucket?
A
You know?
shovel.
Yep. You know, you can put it right in the ground, or put it inside the bucket this way, and then just erase out the middle there. And now you have the shovel inside the bucket. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Because say, for instance, the perspective idea of the shovel is an issue for you. Then I just showed you how you can hide things if you have a certain weakness
Mm-hmm.
or a confidence issue. You see? How can I make it seem like there's more distance to that horizon line? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I take another, how would you say, idea and put a smaller boat here. See that?
Mm-hmm.
What does that feel? Does it feel like that's further away than this one is?
Oh yeah.
Hmm. How about another one? How about putting people looking like they're enjoying the water? It's a couple of shapes that look like people look like they're in the water enjoying. Because at that distance, you're not really seeing them. See what I did?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'll put a couple of waves. You see, just to get the idea of the water again. And look, when we put these lines in there, I'll put them further apart down, coming down this way. And then now they get closer together in here. Looser interpretation over here, more in the middle here, you see? And
Mm-hmm.
now look at the scene again. How are we feeling it now?
Yeah.
Feels like we had a shore now, right?
Yep.
Now, another thing we didn't talk about is sky elements. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
got the umbrella. See, that's why I said put the umbrella. Say, for instance, you don't know how to put clouds in to be able to get the idea of the same idea of distance,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Or what if we put a hot air balloon out there?
Ooh.
Yeah. How could we control the same idea of distance to whereas that boat that's way out there would seem like it's in the same area as that air balloon flying?
Mm.
All that is now I can put a circle, put a line on it, and put a little box like that.
Mm-hmm.
What does that feel like?
Mm-hmm. Feels like a hot air balloon.
Off in the distance,
Mm-hmm.
floating away from you. Now see how the eye is attracted and
Mm-hmm.
stays, and you're forcing the eye to move around the surface. That's a compositional aid, everybody. Some people can use the figure eight, you see.
Mm-hmm.
You look at some of the masters, Da Vinci and all these guys that everybody loves from the 14th, 15th, 16th century.
Mm-hmm.
They would use the alphabet and the numerical lines from 0 to 9 as design elements of
Mm-hmm.
placing things. Yeah, look at Del Greco and see how the descendant of the cross,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see that T shape in there. Then when you look at Giotto, Giotto, and you'll see how he's using the alphabet. If you look at the way the objects are laid down,
Mm-hmm.
overall, if you look at all of it together and look at the movement, you'll see a T shape, you'll see an
Mm-hmm.
S shape, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see A. So a lot of times they use A's, triangles, and circles.
Mm-hmm.
And the figure eight was another one that was really used a lot because if you place things in that way, it gives the eye the same type of excitement of when you're walking around looking at things.
Hmm.
You see, so you can use any part of the alphabet or the numerical code from 0 to 9, because those are basically all the numbers right there. You just got different combinations of these numbers together to have the impression of all the other numbers if you really look at it.
Right.
But everything is from 0 to 9, and you would use those. And if you use those as placement for things, you'll see it. Even if you look at advertisements, you can see it in advertisements because in design and in advertising, they use these elements too as well
Yeah.
to design a page for you to be more intrigued to look at it by the symmetry or asymmetry or the balance or imbalance to garner your attention, which is line, shape, form, light, surface, or line, shape, space, light, and surface at that point.
And
It's using, mm-hmm.
they also want to control your line of sight. They want you to direct your gaze to an important aspect to get to hone in that point they want to hone in.
Oh yeah, especially in cinematography. That's a
Mm-hmm.
main thing in your realm, Nadine, for cinematography, editing, and all that,
Mm-hmm.
because you would use certain in focus or out of focus, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sequences to garner your attention in a certain corner of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's the same thing when you're looking. Like, here's one for everybody. If you have something on the table in front of you, look at that item first, and then
Mm-hmm.
try to notice what the surrounding area is doing. Everything is fuzzy
Mm-hmm.
when your focus is on that one item in the foreground. Now focus on something just in the background or the middle ground. What does the
Mm-hmm.
foreground look like?
Mm.
It's fuzzed out.
It's out of
It's not
focus.
right. It's out of focus because whatever you're focusing in on is the object of attention. Everything else is out of focus or diffused. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So then that's another thing that people don't use anymore in their paintings.
Mm-hmm.
That when I've used them, I may not have won the contest once again, but I've gotten a lot of people to look at the piece, number one, and then ultimately sometimes you get an individual that's so enthralled with what you've done that they want to purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the ultimate. But these are just some of the simple things that you can use that think about why your comic books are so important to you. Think about why TV is so important to people and cinematography is because of the
Mm-hmm.
very thing you just said. When it can give you that type of excitement, that's why digital graphics have to be what they are today. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It has to be, things have to bleep, move, like how you just heard me get an alert. It
Mm-hmm.
has to bleep, and it comes across a stream with lights and movement or hypothetical movement based upon the timing of lights moving across a little screen
Mm-hmm.
to get your attention. All that's based upon how you actually look at things, and they use that stuff, like how Nadine alluded towards, to keep your attention or to put your attention on a specific product
Mm-hmm.
so that you participate with that product or saying or philosophy or thought,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But just know that these ideas that we're talking about so candidly now to make this scene, it's what's used in your actual environment for you to be able to navigate, know how to go to the store. When you're in the store, know what you're looking for. You
Mm-hmm.
know what symbols look like, even if symbology is not on the top of your brain. If I showed you certain symbols, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's my product. I eat Frosted Flakes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a Kellogg product. Yeah, I eat cornflakes all the time. That's the rooster.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of people don't even remember that the rooster was for the cornflakes.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah. And then Tony the Tiger, he just beat up on the rooster. Now you don't even really see the rooster anymore
Mm-hmm.
because now the rooster is seen as an annoyance. But nonetheless, that's still how do you recall this, evoke it, to negate it out, to get the idea out? How do you pull something from nothing? The
Mm-hmm.
page was empty. We dictated what the scene would be. We were at the shore.
Mm-hmm.
Then we said it's from the point of view of we're looking over one of the tables from underneath of the umbrella. You see that, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Do we not have that idea there? That's
Yeah.
our intent. Okay, look, now I'll go back through with the black marker real quick. And I promise it'll be quick, Nadine, because I see we're at 12:06.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So now look, everybody. This is where I start going in and making certain things permanent now. So that means that I would go back into the background and I would darken in where and show where the balloon is, how that balloon is. Then I would play up how the horizon line is, and then just play it up a little bit more, make it pretty still if I need to, make sure that it doesn't go through my sails. I haven't seen too many plastic sails where you can look through and that's a fanciful thing that they want. No, no. Another thing we do is when we do the sails, you see, you can make one a little bit higher than the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can even say what direction the wind is coming in by putting one of the small ones up top that identifies where the wind is coming from. So we're saying the wind is coming from the left, cascading to the right, or flowing to the right. Is that east or west or north or south? I don't know. You can say it, everybody. Left or right motion, east to west. You can say that if you would like, because that will be your world then. See, now I'm gonna put this other one back here. That's overlapping the horizon line, you see, but looks like it's moving towards it. You see that? Then where are we saying the light is coming from? Is it coming from this way? Is it high noon? Or is it dusk? See what I'm saying, Nadine?
Mm-hmm.
So then now we got our James Bond guy coming out the water. You see? And now we make it look like he's got Speedos on and all that stuff, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or he's a Navy SEAL coming out with a wetsuit, a frog suit on. You see what I mean? That would be kind of scary. Would that be? Well, that's how they have the women coming out of water like that at one point during, I guess it was the late 70s, 80s,
Mm-hmm.
where they had some of the women coming out of the water in snorkeling gear to come up to the table like this. I don't think it was Sean Connery anymore. I think it was one of the Bonds that wasn't that athletic.
Right. He would come out of the water. And
Yeah,
then
but then I remember distinctly a lot of times they started to let have the women, the beautiful model coming out of the water with a wetsuit on, and then she pulls the headgear off with the mouthpiece, and flings the hair and then runs towards it. You know what I mean? I remember that. It may
Well,
not be James Bond movie, but I remember that being a scene in some of those action movies.
oh, also what, Charlie's Angels?
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to watch that a lot. Yep, yep. You're absolutely right, Nadine. Ooh, man, see how this stuff just triggers all these
Ooh,
ideas you
it
got?
is.
Yeah, like, look, there's two ways we can do this. I will come and establish my shoreline. So the part that's going to be, and still it goes through the bottle, I let it go through the bottle. I let it go through the bottle. Hit my James Bond guy right at the knees or something, you see. Then I would do that front line the same way, but remembering to have the left side, those waves running to the left. And then when I get to the middle, everything that's to the right starts running to the right. You see how that black line is doing, everybody? We can make it seem like James Bond is stepping right on the shore. You see? So then now we will put the little foam and do a more of a curved shape behind that line. And you see how that little curved dotted line starts to feel like froth?
Mm-hmm.
You see, and you will put it closer to that line right there that's in the middle. Let it run through the bottle, hit your James Bond character. You see, we got that there. Then I will put my people looking like they're having fun in the water, maybe waving back at us at the shoreline. You know what I mean? To wave at us, say, hey, man, you should be out here with us. You know what I mean? There
Put your
you go.
trunks on.
Yeah, man, stop being up there, doing what you can do if you was at back home in the East. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You see? Now I would feel safe to put some of these lines, but I will put some of them closer, at the horizon line or leading away. And as I get away from the horizon line, I start spreading these lines out, meaning that the interval is spaced from here to here to here. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So up in here, I'm going to use the lines closer together. As I move down, the lines get further apart. So where I
Mm-hmm.
get down here, and they're even further apart to show the wave. See the difference in, ooh, I'm sorry. See the difference in that little set of lines there?
Yeah.
So whereas they're closer together, it seems like they're further away. As the waves start to space in them, as it comes towards the shore, it seems like you're coming closer to the person.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go for it. Let's make some of these do the same thing. Notice how I'm letting some of them go through the bottle. Because if it's a clear Corona bottle, that's going to be the case. You'll see some of the waves in the bottle, refracted in the bottle, because it's translucent, not transparent.
Mm-hmm.
You see? You know, put the lines in, and they start looking like waves undulating, in the waters. You don't want to overdo it. Just, a couple here and there. Wherever you put the blue lines at, put a couple here and there. But then you can come back with your kneaded eraser and erase out all those lines when you're ready. For the bottle now you see if you have the ribs on it to show the turning of the bottle cap being able to come off, you see? And then
Mm-hmm.
now you would drawing those lines totally now, you see? Making them permanent, you see? You see? Yeah. Even putting your label on the front, you see? I'm gonna put a D on mine. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And now you would put the effects for whatever's on the inside in there, you see? You can even put some marks to show the shine on the bottom, you see? You know how light reflects and refracts back? Yeah. Even down here, you can put a little dotted line to show that it's still liquid in there, you see? Same thing with this bottle. I will put just a basic red because that was a pop-off bottle cap. Mm-hmm. You see? That's why I like using the eraser board, because it's just like if I was on a piece of paper with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
See? And then now that cap is on the opposite side. It's turned away from you. So then now you just want to see it like so, and then you'll see more of the foam in the bottom on this side, you see? And that's what makes it even seem like even more like you're looking into that bottle, you see?
Mm-hmm.
And then now you can put the little glass effects of, you know, reflective light, you see? Even a couple on the front here. Because sometimes there'll be ridges on the bottom of the bottle,
Yep.
you see? Ridges
And
on the
and
bottom.
and sometimes they'll even have braille.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Little dots and dashes and high points on the bottle. Yeah, you know. Now this is where we can say the light. You know, if I say the light is coming this way, coming straight down, then underneath this here, it would be here for that
Mm-hmm.
bottle. And possibly a little bit right here. And that's as much as we would see possibly of that shadow. You see, and I would use left or right motions to fill it in if I'm not going to use any color, you know. All my marks would be left to right to make sure that it's laying flat down. So then now that means that my bottle cap would have the same type of shadow on it. You see, my
Mm-hmm.
bottle cap one would have the same type of shadow around it, but then this one would be almost caught up in this shadow for this one right here. You see, just a little bit. And now I would go left or right in there. You see? And then now your bottle cap is here and it would have a little bit of a shadow like so. And then boom, 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 boom. And there you go. You see? Now the edge of the table, same way, will be here, then here. A little bit here. That's the bottle showing again. Here. Then here, here, and now here. Boom. Our table is there. Now I would come back and do where my umbrella is. Maybe even put a little bally on the end. You see? To show how that little rib you did, that aluminum or plastic rib that's there to hold the umbrella together. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe putting shadows underneath to show, and then use that backward C motion, which is convex or concave. You see? To say that's a shadow inside there. You see? A shadow inside. And I would use that motion of the edge of the umbrella to dictate how that shadow would look.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I'm just using a scrumbly line. That's all I'm using. Does it feel like a shadow?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Come on. You know, you see the other things that you can put in. You would have to put a shadow on your ball. You see, you have to put a shadow on the bucket with the handle inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And look at how that starts to come to light when we control the light source and where the light is coming from. You see,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So when people say, "Oh, I can't," I say, "No, you're choosing not to. That's what can't means. It means you can, but that N apostrophe T is getting you in trouble because you're saying
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to at this moment. So that's why I say you can, everybody. You just gotta want to do it at that moment. That's
Yep.
the only way, you know. Is there more things we can put in here? Yeah, it's more things we can put. But just remember some of the points that we talked about. You have to control everything
Mm-hmm.
when you're making it up, and there's nothing wrong with that. After we got this like this, you can fill it in with almost anything, don't you think, Nadine?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You can airbrush this if you wanted to, watercolors, watercolor pencil, color pencils, pastels, acrylics, oils, gouache. It's endless what you could fill this in. So that's why I like focusing on drawing a whole bunch. Because once you have your drawing down, you can fill it in. So that's the whole argument between what used to be historically uh, uh, Poussinese and Rubenesque. The
Mm-hmm.
Poussinists were the guys that loved drawing. The
Mm-hmm.
Rubenesque were the guys that loved color. They tried to say that color rules what an item is. And the Poussins or the Poussinists said, no, it's based upon the raw formality, the edge, the line, the form, the shape that it takes on to contain that color.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still the argument when you talk about non-objectional and objectional work, abstract and realistic work, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And then just to slide in another one on everybody, then why did Mark Rothko do what he did for color field painting?
Mm.
Yeah. Interesting conversations in the arts. Excuse me for talking art.
Yeah. We're sorry for talking art.
Yeah, but that's the way you look at it. So now you see it. We have our quasi James Bond character coming out the water looking like he's about to walk up.
Mm-hmm.
Other ones, they had it where the footprints would be going away. You ever seen that one?
Oh yeah.
Where the footprints is going away and you see the person diving in the water, like as if
Mm-hmm.
they just stand up to take a swig of the Corona and then ran back into the into the ocean.
Mm.
So I remember seeing those type of commercials like that too. So I'm just trying to pull all the commercials that you would see during, certain sporting events or how they used to do it back in the day real big, where you
Mm.
literally want to be looking at the commercial like, yo, what are they going to do for Corona this year? Last year, what they did was so hype or so this or so fresh or so, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
that's when the Janet Jackson booby incident happened.
Yeah. Lo and behold.
So yeah, with all of that, everybody. But as you can see, we're pretty much done this. Your imagination can go wild with this. So anytime you don't have a source material, just think about it. Trip back through your memories. Think about something small. Think about, like it is. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and
Happy
uncles and
Father's Day. Yeah.
and then just think about a scene if you was to sit down with your father, if that individual is not here no more, what would they have on their table? Things like
Mm-hmm.
that. See, that's the psychiatric or psychological aspect of it then. Not really caring about if the bottle's in perfect perspective, but can you remember and adore what that person would do on those days?
Oh yeah.
And to evoke that. Did you go to the shore with this person and y'all had a moment where you sat down like this? Whether you had it exactly like this or not is not the issue. But did you have a moment like that?
Mm.
You see? And that's when you're not really caring about the absolute of right and wrong and perfection of the scene. You're more so worried about the expression, the feeling, the emotion that it brings to you to remember, to
Mm-hmm.
recall those beautiful moments with individuals or with individuals that are still living in environments like this when you did go to an environment like this to relax, to
Mm-hmm.
convalesce, to commune these things, to decompress. You know what I mean? All the words we use when we say we want to go to some place like this and have a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Have that moment, everybody. Try to remember them, try to hold on to them so you can use them in other ways to bring you delight and fun.
And a great
Ain't that right,
way,
Nadine?
that's right. And a great way to remember this is to draw it.
There you go. Or
That
any
is a
derivative
great
you
way.
want. Yeah. I mean, you could have put a bowl up there, popcorn if you want to. I don't know.
Woo! Popcorn. I haven't had
You
popcorn in a while.
know it. Air popcorn, put some nutritional yeast on it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
soup.
Or you can
Yeah.
put your not your A1, the what's that other one? Ooh, man. Well, I use the Goya seasoning sometimes, the saffron,
Mm-hmm.
And then what's that seesaw thing called again?
The seesaw? The
Obey,
pink?
obey,
Oh, Old Bay, yeah.
yeah,
That'll
obey.
raise your pressure.
Yeah, but it tastes something good on some how would you say potato chips that you make
Crabs.
home, and especially the popcorn, man.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, man. You put that Obey on that popcorn. You can be vegan all day. That you saying you're gonna smell that popcorn. You're gonna be like, hey, let me.
Yeah.
I ain't had that in years.
Right? I need a little seasoning. They put
You
them
know,
on chips now.
yeah, that Obey takes your blood pressure up. Everybody knows it, but it tastes so good though.
It does. It does taste
You
good.
know. So I'm with you, everybody. Yeah, just like how Nadine said, it takes your pressure up. But hey, man, listen, it tastes good. I'll drink some water and go sit down in the shade.
Right?
Yeah.
It be tasting good.
I just got to need just one handful, and I swear I won't do another. Now, who does
Mm-hmm.
that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm with you, Nadine. You gotta watch the Old Bay season stuff, but God, it tastes so
Yeah.
it tastes so good.
It does taste good.
What they say, it tastes so good to be so wrong. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
know.
So at this point, everybody, there's nothing more to really say about this scene. How did yours come out, Nadine?
Let me see. Are y'all ready? Okay.
I think we ready. Yeah. All right. You see, you got the idea. Because you go on enough trips and outings that you've seen this somewhere in your lexicon.
I think I have an image like this.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the one, you know what I started thinking about? The one we did when you was on the deck. I forget where you were.
I was in the Poconos.
There you go, that one there. I'm remembering that one because it looked kind of like this scene, except for we had the fencing of the deck and the
Yes.
cup with the heart in it.
Yes.
And we just did the tree, the
Yeah.
yeah, you know
So
the
it wasn't
drill.
alcohol, it was coffee, and it was looking
Right.
at the lake, and we could see the
Mhm.
houses in the back. And that's
Yeah.
actually that was a good session.
Yeah.
That was a
That's why
really
I
good
bring it
session.
up because it was something close to this, what we just did. So
Yes.
that's why I say, everybody, we pretty much dance back and forth between everything we've done. I remember Nadine had said last week we may start, how would you say, when we do certain things, just rehashing some of those things in those earlier videos to bring them forward so everybody can remember and then have a reasoning for going to the other videos. And
Yes.
when we get Patreon organized, you can go there and have a better way at seeing some of the things that we're saying. And then you can see our evolution, how we got to
Mm-hmm.
the point we are right now, everybody.
Because we have evolved. There were so many really interesting things that we touched on. I mentioned glyphs and art.
Mm-hmm.
We called it glyphs and the art of insane approach.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've got some I have to update still. I'm looking for the Poconos one on our little spreadsheet.
Yeah, the
Uh,
main thing is everybody, we try to go through, if you haven't noticed, what we would call the modalities of art in the Western
mhm,
civilization. So
mhm,
if you look at fauna and fauna, that would be the one we're talking about now with Nadine and the Poconos.
mhm,
That would be like
mhm,
a fauna and fauna type of idea. You're
mhm,
in the, you're in the woods and you're showing the fauna, you know what I mean? You may show a fawn, which would be a deer or any animal life at that point. Or you
mhm,
may just show where human beings convalesce, like how we're doing here. So this still would be considered, this would be an oceanscape. The one that we did with Nadine being in the Poconos would be a landscape
mhm,
or lakescape.
mhm.
You see, these are all genres within the art movement, art history, or world history at that point, and then
Mhm.
the Western thing, and then the American idea. And it's all based upon what was successful in the marketplace. So,
Yeah.
and that's when you got all your genres now.
Mhm,
So what we just did would be considered a graphic image, you know what I mean? And it would be considered an ocean scene,
mhm,
or it could be considered a Great Lake scene or a lake scene.
Yeah,
Because I've
it
been
could.
around where it felt like this,
Hmm.
and you would see the other side. And if I put tree lines on one side or the other, it'll feel like an open lake idea.
Yeah. You
If
just
I put,
add a few little things, or the high grass,
yep,
on the side. You're like, oh,
mm,
wait a minute. This is a lake. This is not a beach.
there you
Yeah.
go. That's all you gotta do. One or two little small little augmentations or inventions of a mark to resemble something.
Hmm.
And you know when you got it, when you have the next human being other than yourself saying, wow, I feel like I'm there, or wow, even though it doesn't look exactly like that, like a lake, I really feel
Hmm.
like I'm at the lake, or I really
Yeah.
feel like I'm at the ocean.
Hmm.
Because you got to remember, all we did is put a couple of lines together.
That's
Think
it.
about
We
that. And
sure
now
did.
we got you believing that you can walk into the space and pick that D beer up or pick up the beer on the other side.
Hmm.
You know.
Absolutely.
How we made you believe the distance just by the movement of shapes, the size differentiation between shapes or the different
Hmm.
sizes of shapes.
Hmm.
As we got closer to the horizon line, things get smaller. So that means any line I put small things next to, it's going to reach you as a human being as a horizon line or your
Hmm.
eye level at least. Yep. And then if I make them bigger coming towards the bottoms of the page or the middle of the page, it's going to feel like something's coming toward you or going away from you.
Hmm.
So just by using size, you can make somebody believe perspective. And look how we did it without having to actually talk perspective. All we did is made a smaller two triangles for a smaller boat. We made a medium-sized boat, and then we made a real two big bottles and everything else in our foreground to make it
Hmm.
seem like it's sitting right there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Once again, is there more that you can do to it? Sure, you could probably put, a little, how would you say, cheese fries or something, or a pineapple drink, or a martini,
Hmm.
what I mean, a coconut
Hmm.
with an umbrella in it if you wanted to. Any
Hmm.
type of glass or mug that you would want to make based upon the basic shape idea that we did earlier. And that's pretty much general with any shape. You can make the shape, make where the confines of the shape is going to be, put a line in the middle to say that you want it to seem like it's sitting straight up and down or totally vertical or balanced
Hmm.
on the page, standing straight up, and then start making your shapes for that particular vessel on that middle meridian line that you made.
Hmm.
Make a ball to say where the girth of the bottle is going to be. That's generally how they make these things. If you look into it, everybody, they use basic shapes to blow that bottle up. Then once
Yep.
they get the shape they need, then they move it to the next shape or they'll add a shape onto the bottle. It's interesting just to see glass people work because
Yeah.
they use basic shapes, but then those shapes are turning into instant forms based upon heat and pressure, you know,
It is
and
pretty interesting.
yeah, because they'll do certain spins of the glass and somebody's working the cooling on one side with a glove to get certain effects to get the bottle to move. They have certain techniques to take that little circle that they blew up as an orb and to stretch it out to make the bottles that everybody sees when you go to the liquor store and things
Oh,
like
yeah.
this, or it may be like those crystal bottles that a lot of people used to buy a lot as your dining sets and things like this when you would have company and you would have wine or juice and you have the big crystal bowl and things like this. My
Hmm.
aunts and my mom even had one, so
Hmm.
you pull it out, it has the crystal glasses that look like coffee cups, but they are made out of crystal,
Hmm.
or low grade crystal. Yeah, yeah. All made of basic shapes, everybody. Orbs sliced and pressed while they're hot with different cooling ideas to get the shapes in these things that they crimped and blew up to stay in position.
Hmm.
So it's always about line, shape, form, or line, shape, space, light, and surface.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking about that when I actually saw I saw someone create, they were glass blowing, and it was in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's
The
really
home,
beautiful, the
right?
process.
Yeah, the home of glass blowing. There's
Yeah.
other things you can do too, like you can heat up sand and do certain things as a small project.
Uh-huh.
You need all that when you start dealing with people that understand fibers and things.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear somebody says, "Oh, I'm a fiber sculptor," or I'm into fiber. All
Mm-hmm.
that means that they're not really looking at sculpting in the traditional sense at that point. They're looking at
Okay.
fine materials and things that have a reaction or happening between materials.
Mm-hmm.
So they may take burlap and put silk with it, or they may take burlap and wrap it around clay to get a certain effect, you see, based upon emotion and all that. Kind of like you see that a lot of times in fashion.
Okay.
Whereas, you'll see stuff that, yeah, nobody's really going to wear that on the street, but you can see that it's just mainly for what they would call the runway work,
Yeah.
the art.
Well, there are some people that will, but
Yeah, but not at a high number like they would, like how
they're
they do with
special.
ocean cuts. Yeah. Like you see somebody with a wire hat on with birds hanging from it. That's not something everybody's going to get into.
No. It is interesting though when you see them. I'm like, oh, there's a special one. A definite creative, an artist for sure. You know.
Walmart, no, no. You won't see that hat that you see on the runway. You'll see a derivative that's like marked down,
Uh-huh.
you know. You may see a bamboo hat with that idea. You see what I'm saying? But it
Right.
won't look exactly like with the artistry that was on the runway.
Mm-hmm.
That claim. So just to bring that idea up like that. But you do see some eccentrics out here on the streets that do things on their own.
Uh-huh.
Like I seen
Yeah.
a guy that did that, he, did certain designs and things and took certain things that looked like dead animals, but they weren't, and he hung them on the hat, around the edges
Right.
of the hat, the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like some old, spooky stuff, but it wasn't. It was very interesting to me.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? This is another level of symbology at that point.
Right. Yeah, that's it is really interesting. The whole, I mean, creativity, it's like how far do you take it?
You take it as far as what you have been to be created.
Yeah.
So once again, if you're a creation, you go as far as what you've been created. Everything that created you, you can use as an idea to
Mm-hmm.
make paintings, make
Mm-hmm.
creations, to express the time period that you're
Mm-hmm.
in. Now you really understand the importance of the artist to society, and you have
Mm-hmm.
an understanding of why we have all these museums and galleries all throughout the terrains of the planet, you know what I mean, called marketplaces.
Right.
Now you see the importance of these different time periods because each one of these artists that we love were painting for their time period. So
Mm-hmm.
they're talking from their time period to a future time period, which is us. You see what I'm saying? To keep that idea or tradition of human expression going forth.
Yes.
Yeah, most people don't look at it like that. When you go to the museum, you're paying ode to not just the present people that are
Mm-hmm.
living that are fortunate enough to garner the attention to show at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But we're looking at their collection to say, okay, this collection is worthwhile because they have some of the best artists from several time periods that we still can look at to garner the masterful the all over the masterfulness movements of controlling mediums and the ideas of being human at that
Mm-hmm.
time to push us forward to the time where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. See a Kandinsky piece, a Duchamp piece, what that really means.
Mm-hmm.
Early Pollock, you know what I mean? Early Henry Osawa Tanner,
Mm-hmm.
early the Harlem Renaissance artists. There's so many of them that I can't really just pick one or two. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
got John Biggers, look at his
Mm-hmm.
work. You know what I mean? Louise Malo Jones, look at her work.
Mm-hmm.
Augusta Savage, look at her work.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the list goes on and on and on. Whether you want non-objective or objective, what we're paying ode to is each individual at that time that was able to garner attention to be in those spaces and places to show what it is to be a creative during those periods to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go back and read up on some of them, they were speaking to this time period and they was talking about what the future events would be. And if you look at some of those things and look at what we're doing, it pretty much was close.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them was dead on, but a few of them was very close to the idea of what the future of creativity is going to be. So that's our task in the present moment. You know, is it going to be digital work? It's going to be digital photography or photography with film. You see, is it going to be things done by hand or done with the computer or done symbiotic, both at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are they going to push the 3D printer even further than just into construction
Mm-hmm.
and architecture? Is it going to be able to, how would you say, be expanded upon in the marketplace for, you know, the average everyday individual? Just like the computer, will the price of the 3D printer drop? Or can you
Probably.
really replicate one and then make another one? You see what I'm saying? Because that's where I ran into a spot where you got the schematic, so you one made one, and then now you would take that one that you made to make another one or another two if you wanted
Mm-hmm.
to, and then be able to go from there to make whatever it is you want to make. So it's a lot of interesting things on the idea on what the future of creativity is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
as long as man is in place.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting conversation to have in
Yes.
light of all the AI, you know? Because
Yes.
right now, the position that AI is in is that if we don't put the right data in, then, you know what I mean, does it really get it? And then when it does get it, because it gets enough of empirical information in, then have we just made an evil being?
Yeah. Or will it come to the point where, well, I don't know if that's going to be the case, that all they are grabbing is stuff that they've created. I'm talking about AI. So,
Well, yes and no, because that's how they make digital images. The way they make the AI makes digital images, it pulls all the images throughout the internet.
it brings it in and
Yeah, and
then
it gives you the
makes a
best
face.
derivative. Yeah, based upon everything we talked about earlier to make this scene. So to have mathematical equations to be able to say what type of scene this is.
Right.
And now the best images it will pull from the internet and put in all the places where we put something.
Yeah.
But it'll be the best images for the screen based upon the images that AI has statistically went through to say averagely the average on why a particular image or shape is more important than others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can do it with anything is based upon your description. And
Mm-hmm.
it goes through that whole process and does it again.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the point where it's almost instant. You know, you can ask it to make a scene, make a beach scene where it looks like it's Hollywood, and it'll make you a scene just like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can get more specific by saying where the light's coming north by northeast.
Yeah.
You can put in the coordinates of what of an area that you think you may want it to look like.
Or time. You can put
Yes,
where the camera is.
yes, or where the point of view is, not just
It
the
would,
camera,
yeah,
the
because
point.
yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of times putting the camera is where the point of view is. But I see what you're saying. You could just
yeah,
say POV. You could just say
yeah.
POV,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll do
Until
that.
you get more specific and say you're making a movie or something, or
Mm-hmm.
commercial. Because other than that, it's saying it like it's trying to say that it's making it based upon how a human would do a painting.
Mm-hmm.
If you get what I'm saying. So
Yes.
that's why they go more with point of view at that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to mimic what my human counterpart or creator has done.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's part of the process. But either which way, interesting conversation. Which way is the arts going to go at this point?
That is the question.
Mm-hmm.
Question is,
Yep. Will all
what
the
the
faculty be?
future, what
Mm-hmm.
the future of art will be.
Mm-hmm. Art making or creativity will be?
Mm-hmm.
Will it always be a mechanical go through at this point now, or will it be at the point where we're at now, where you can go either lane, or
Mm-hmm.
will one lane close down? Will the human hand be closed down to be
Ooh.
more confidence in the computer manipulation, or will the hand become more refined and more unique
Mm.
in its interpretations?
Mm.
Because that's what the museum is showing too.
Yeah.
The accuracy and inaccuracy or inadequacy of the human hand to bring out what we call expression.
Yeah.
And it's based upon the happenings or moments of the time period that you're in. And when somebody asks about that, I said, well, all right, look into German expressionism and what made that.
Right.
So we can have Edward Munch do the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody to this day look at that painting and universally see the anguish,
Mm-hmm.
the horror
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
of war.
Mm-hmm.
Edward Munch, the screen.
Mm-hmm.
That was the basis of that. That's German expressionism.
Mm-hmm.
Look at another lady, Kathy Kolowitz, and you can see how she used printmaking to talk about mother and child or matriarchal, I would just say safety and concern
Right.
in a war idea. Well, Kathy
Mm-hmm.
Kolowitz dealt with that mother and child in German expressionism
Mm-hmm.
in an era where it wasn't considered for women to be considered anything in a man's realm. So
Mm-hmm.
she was considered a master printmaker.
Mm-hmm.
So Kathy Kolowitz, everybody, check her out. And then you'll understand how time periods imprint ideas and thoughts and movements on expression and
Mm-hmm.
expressionism or creation and creativity for the time periods that we're in. So what's ruling the day now or starting to try to rule the day is digital work, computerized work.
Mm-hmm.
Started off with the G clay and all that good stuff as a print. Is that the same as a lithograph? Is that the
Mm-hmm.
same as a seriograph? Now that the G clay has risen to a certain point to be considered like a lithograph, to be considered like a seriograph or an etching, what does that say in society?
Yeah.
Pretty much we have accepted, digital work
Mm-hmm.
as a fine point of creativity.
Yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Don't know. It depends. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of people that from the late 90s onward that's made a pretty good living off of G Clays.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can we say that's a misunderstanding of what quality is, or is that a evolution in what quality can be?
Quality. Yeah.
You see, the argument can go either which way. Is a digital print, a high resolution digital print, seen as quality,
Mm-hmm.
or is it seen as a new standard of quality?
Mm. Or a different category.
Not really category, because it wants to move past lithography and etching, which are the high points of printmaking,
Right.
to move towards what oil painting is, the highest of the high.
Mm-hmm.
Sculpting, the same thing. Bronze was the highest of the high.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about art forms and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is the computer there by acceptance by the general public? Yes.
Mhm.
Which had an imprint on industry? Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because think about it, when G Clays first came in, everybody that was set up for lithography hated it.
Mhm.
Why? It was a cheaper process for a bigger bang for the buck.
Mhm.
So now instead of going lithograph or duotone to be able to print up things, you could print them up very easily now with a device that just spits out, how would you say, ink or paint from nozzles
Mhm.
to give you your image now.
Right.
And then question the idea, is it really art that can be commodified on the open market? Well, if you look at the open market, you have a lot of seriographs. That's what it basically is, a high
Mhm.
a high level seriograph where they're using acrylic paint or high resolution paint being sprayed out from nozzles to lay on top of paper.
Mhm.
That's what's happening when you get a G-clay print. So they're saying because it's using this technique of air nozzles and acrylic paint, that it's just as good as an oil painting or a lithograph, serigraph, or any one of the high-end traditional methods of
Wow.
print. At first, it was a no-no. Everybody was laughing at it. I remember everybody was
Mhm.
laughing. Then all of a sudden, you see it. Now everything is directly to press, meaning that once I press that button now in the pre-press room and the design room, it goes straight to plate. That plate is taken straight to the press to be printed.
Mhm.
It's evolved to a situation now where I press the button, I don't even need somebody to put it on the press.
Mhm.
That means that it developed, they have machinery where it develops the plates, the zinc plates, right?
Mhm.
Then it'll go through a mechanism where it'll go and be put on to the press itself, connected to the conveyor belt, the
Mhm.
system of plate being produced and developed.
Mhm.
And all you need is two people, one person in the pre-press computer room and
Mhm.
one person to monitor the ins and outs of the press.
Mhm.
This is what you have happening because that whole process eliminated the photostatic goldenrod, all the different techniques that you would use to print up a page.
Right.
Now it's all press one button, it goes straight to the press.
Mhm.
Or now you don't even need a press. You'll just have a plotting machine
Right.
that you can press all of this out on a bigger piece of paper and then just have a conveyor of cutters that will cut the different sizes down that you need.
Mhm.
And then put it in the book and magazine form. Oh, but you don't have to do that anymore because now you have ebooks.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you're slowly seeing magazines being on the shutdown if you go to
Mhm.
Barnes and Nobles or something.
Mhm.
People were not really looking. The cost of a magazine has gone up
Mhm.
to almost $5 a magazine, something like that, if not more.
It's becoming more like a book.
It's becoming more like nostalgia.
Mhm.
You're buying a piece of artwork now rather than just a periodical
Right.
because now it's cheaper just to leave it on the light show, as I
Mhm.
call it. That means your tablets, your
The
laptops,
light
your
show.
iBooks, and your phones. Yeah, I don't even need a piece of paper. That's what they're saying.
Mhm.
What does that mean for the artist then?
Right.
You see all these beautiful conversations that you can have,
Mhm.
you know? And these are most of our conversations that we will and do have and will be having. And
Mhm.
excuse us for talking art.
Sorry for talking hard, but we have to. This is in our blood.
It's in our blood, but every human being has to
Mhm.
because we have to express. And I'm always going to say this, are you a creation? If you was created and you saying, yes, I'm a creation, then that means that you're a creator and you have to create.
There it is.
There's no way around it. And then if you further have difficulties with it, then look around your home.
Mm-hmm.
Look in the mirror and look at how you adorn yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
don't just throw things on. You put things on based upon your experiences and how you like to, how would you say, reflect upon the world that you're in.
Express yourself.
There you go. So you don't just put on any t-shirt, you put on a Fruit of the Loom t-shirt. You may have a different color t-shirt to match your sneakers that day or to match your socks.
Or let's paint and draw a long t-shirt.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, pretty much, you know, red and white, I got a red and white hat on with red shirt and, khaki shorts, black
Mm-hmm.
shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's matching on a certain level. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
coordinated. That's being creative. You're not
Wow.
just looking in the drawer and just throwing on anything. Nobody does that. Even
Nobody.
when it looks like it's like that, nobody does
Nobody does it because they choose what pants
that.
to put on.
Right. Even if it's based upon your emotions, you're picking for a specific reason. It may
Right.
not resonate to the rest of us out here, but
Mm-hmm.
at that moment when you picked it, you know what? Have fun if you got little kids around you. Let
Mm-hmm.
them dress themselves if you want to have fun to see what it is that we're talking about. So you can see that we just don't pick up anything.
True
Because
that.
you'll look at the little boy and be like, boy, if you don't, that's what you picking to wear?
Yeah.
Because I remember you look at some of them and they just pick up anything and just put it on. That's picking up anything and putting it on. And then they look at you like, did I do a good job?
Mm-hmm. Did I
And
do
depending upon
good?
how you react, you'd be like, woo, look at you. I knew you had it in you. It's in
Yep.
your genes. No, they just picked up the thing that they knew that you pick up for them every day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they did this. You see little girls function better like that.
Right.
A little boy, he'll still just look at it and won't even care that, yeah, you picked up the blue jeans from me every day, but I may like those red pants with that plaid lumberjack shirt that I wear in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. That I want to wear every day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going based upon his comfort scale. I like that and I like that. That's why you see little boys being cowboy policemen.
Yep. There you go.
You know, it's like you see little girls being um how would you say, Cinderella or a princess, and Tinkerbell or some type of, you know what I mean, whimsical character like that at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because they all wear the ballroom dress or the, how would you say, the ballerina dress.
Yes.
And if they wear the tiara, it's a certain way the tiara is to let you know if it's the fantasy character or she's trying to be a queen or she's
Yeah.
trying to be a princess.
Right.
You see? So yeah, man, you know what I mean? We don't do things like we think we do just haphazardly. No, no, no. Not humans, not humans. It's all for a reason. Now, that reasoning that you do that pick, it may not, like how I said, it may not resonate with others. At that moment, it's resonating with you. You get
Mm-hmm.
outside, and that's when you start feeling a certain way. Because people like, what in the world are you thinking about, man? You don't wear plaids and stripes together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what are we doing right now? Questioning pattern, questioning
Yeah.
rhythm, questioning combination,
Mm-hmm.
questioning everything about what we call uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
Is uniqueness and oddity like putting plaids and stripes together? Or does it even matter?
Doesn't matter. I've seen it happen.
Right. Is that just a fashion world thing or is that a common everyday man or woman thing?
Could be a statement. You're making a
Could it be a
statement.
cultural thing?
I want to create conflict. So every time you look at me, you're conflicted.
But if you look at some ways culturally now, if we're talking culture or world culture, you'll see where that's an absolute factor.
Mm-hmm.
Where certain things was done enough times to whereas, okay, blowing of the conch shell means there's a wartime going on and you're calling on the ultimate warriors.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
Or you're blowing through a goat's horn,
Mhm.
a ram's horn.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Then now these things become cultural, but they're symbolic.
Mhm.
And then they become a social standard
Mhm.
that we all agree upon.
Mhm.
It's a very powerful conversation on where art is going to go at this point.
Mhm.
Or the idea of expression, where is that going to go at this point?
Mhm.
Will the computer be king and queen of this domain and lead us into this new terrain like some are saying it's going to be?
Mhm.
AI is going to take over the notion on how man itself even, bathes and clothes itself based upon the equations that AI is going to come with, not with what the next man is going to ponder about with new ideas and understandings of technologies that's made based upon here. We're
Mhm.
saying we're going to submit to something that we made to garner all of that. Then is that really a factor? Will that really work?
Right.
Isn't even a concern of ours. How many people are really even concerned about that?
Do you care? You know?
Right. How many people say, "Oh, that's never going to happen," and don't really care or get into the conversation?
Mhm.
Think about everybody. I'm just talking about 350 million people. They say, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's obviously more people than that. But then, what's going to be the new terrain? Are they
Right.
going to eliminate all the what's left of indigenous people that are not part of any society per se in the new? You know what I mean? Sustainable societies in the way that we're talking, or they
Mhm.
stay more traditional, or how would you say, historical,
Mhm.
being untouched by civilized, what we call civilized communications, meaning
Yeah.
that they don't have phones, they don't have
Mhm.
anything. They're still in what we would call a primitive state.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't think they really care about folks like that.
I would say yes and no, because it's still a study.
I mean,
It's a
yeah, they
study,
will study them, but do they
right?
really care?
Yeah, because a lot of if you search into some of it, just a loose Google search, you'll find that they care because these societies don't want them there.
Mhm.
It's not that they're watching them from afar. They're seeing how a certain cultural aspect that if it's left in place, how it will refute
Mhm.
the the anything new.
Yeah, but they don't want refute. That's the thing.
And that's why they're studying it with these individuals and
Yeah.
leave them be, not unless you walk up on your own. And that's why they're waiting for the first people that can make a loose connection. But every
Mhm.
time somebody makes a loose connection with these still indigenous cultures, they wind up dead or missing
Mhm.
after a while. Because no, once you get in here, I can't let you out.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're still functioning in a historical pattern that was there to keep certain things in alignment.
Mhm.
As time went on, that oath or covenant was broken, and that's why you get societies the way we got them,
Mhm.
cities and things like this.
Mhm.
And then now that modern or modernity, as they call it,
Mhm.
becomes like a poison to those societies because they
Mhm.
remember when, like, we're only seeing certain things, so they're there every day, so they're remembering when people came and they didn't do their society good.
Mhm.
So they implanted something in that says, hey, anybody come over here and they have this particular look, do not let them on here.
Mhm.
Do not trust them. They'll say it. If the entity that comes up on the shore looks a certain way or they're in a certain device,
They're
they
like,
may
here
not know
comes
that.
trouble.
Yeah, that's why you see certain photographs and videos of you can hear this ding 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 ding, and it's not bullets. It's them shooting arrows, throwing spears, and
Mhm.
shooting stones at helicopters.
Mhm.
Now they're laughing in the helicopter, but if they get too close, that spear is going to cause an issue to that propeller, and I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what now it probably doesn't because they have certain factors and faculties that would take care of that situation, probably break up whatever's coming through there. But nonetheless, these societies have something that's cultural and historical that they remember that was implanted in the culture that
Mm-hmm.
states that if this comes to the shoreline, if anything's with that,
Mm-hmm.
kill it all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a poison.
Prevent it, yeah, prevent it from even getting on the
Mm-hmm.
shore. Because when we did do it, it caused this, it caused
Mm-hmm.
that, and it caused this. It did this and did that, and it did this.
Mm-hmm.
Without us having to say what this and that is. That's another way to beat the algorithm. We just say this and that and that and this because we can allude towards things, but you can't say it directly.
It's speaking in code.
Right. So
It's
all it
speaking
is
in
just
code.
it's
Them,
indirectly
they, that, this.
right. Mm-hmm.
That's
So if
what
you
they want.
yeah, if you put your mind in that type of vernacular, you can understand closely on why some of these cultures are in that
Mm-hmm.
situation. And yeah, we could probably go in and overpower them, but what will we be doing that's breaking the oath
Mm-hmm.
of our terrain here, no matter
Right.
who you are? You have to have a reasoning for taking away from God
Mm-hmm.
or stealing away from the spiritual realm, meaning
Right.
that eliminating someone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a proper cause, that energy can come back. And that's what lets you know that these guys understand that premise.
Yep. They know what goes around
So,
comes around.
right. So then I have to leave some of these individuals undisturbed
Mm-hmm.
to themselves to keep this equation that we're in moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you're causing a lot more rifts in the future than what you think.
Right. Messing
You
with the
know?
balance.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't look at when it comes to the elite and controlling features, because if you look at it, they're charged with controlling those movements.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether we like it or not, the elite in your bubble are charged. They're like the modern day kings, queens, monarchs, and rulers.
They charge themselves as the rulers.
No, the people do it indirectly,
Mm-hmm.
based upon why is AT&T so big?
Mm-hmm. Because we
You
buy
know?
AT&T services.
Yeah.
So,
Why was Bell South so big to transition into AT&T
mm-hmm.
and to still be a monopoly on the lines today? Why does Comcast have a superiority on the Mid-Atlantic region?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do they get so big? How do they stay being big?
Mm-hmm.
It's the frequency by which they get the population to move towards them.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
So then that's what the situation is.
Well, we want
And
you to move towards us.
well, no, that's what I'm saying. We have to come up with different equations and things and different movements on how that's going to make it more attractive to individuals based
Yes.
upon how things are moving the way they are. It's not set in stone, so it has to be two types of movement. It can't
Mm-hmm.
just be the metaverse in the digital world. It has to
Mm-hmm.
be some of this tangible stuff done. See,
Stuff
because
that
I
you can
get stuff
touch.
from the tangible flyer conversation from maybe not passing my card, but tapping their phones with the dot card, the
Yeah.
digital business card.
Yes.
So that's still like that grassroots thing where feet on the ground, you're walking and
Mm-hmm.
encountering to build, you know what I mean, population or
Mm-hmm.
popularity,
Mm-hmm.
which is nothing more than interest, which is nothing more than fame.
Mm-hmm.
But to be given a dollar and interest
Mm-hmm.
is the ultimate of fame.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the number of people that you're able to snatch their ears from others or
Mm-hmm.
snatch their eyes from others.
Mm-hmm.
So how did Denzel Washington become so big?
Mm-hmm.
Was it the roles of being a rebellious nigger? or Negro
Mm-hmm.
the way, or was it the way of being a lover's man? I mean, a woman, a lady's love,
Mm-hmm.
or to intrigue the female in our society?
Mm-hmm.
And then how many of those females of different cultures accepted the fact that Denzel Washington was that it man?
Mm-hmm.
We're not just talking about his own nationality now. We're talking about every nationality on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
At one point and still to this day, love that man, which
Mm-hmm.
makes his popularity or his influence expand,
Mm-hmm.
which means that he can garner more money on the open market.
Mm-hmm.
This is how art and everything funnels. That's why it's a good conversation to understand how that moves based upon something like this that we just did.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't see the oneness and all that. I like to show that too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, art can't be dead, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Certain aspects of tradition has to move forward, but then also have to be let alone to thrive on its own to keep the conundrum going.
Mm-hmm.
So, i.e., I believe the computer will totally take over? No, not in our time frame, because there's
Mm-hmm.
still human beings that believe in the human hand, in the human experience,
Mm-hmm.
and in what we call duality of the human experience.
Yeah.
As long as we have that, then you're always going to have art because you need the expression. I need to understand what these forms are expressing at this
Mm-hmm.
time. Don't you think? Or no, Nadine?
I do. And I even want to go even a step further because you need art and sometimes you need to take a piece of art home with you. And with that in mind, over at Don Stevens Art in his store, here's how you can support what Don does with Don Stevens Art. We have the link in the description of our video. You can go there and you can come. You can get your Keep Creating bag 365, 24/7, and some really interesting pieces here. Your Cityscape series, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic scene in Center City, that's beautiful. The South Philly one, I love the colors on that. And then the one with the Say It Loud is almost like were you sketching that out and then you decided to do that?
No, it's an idea that comes from my earlier days of being how would you say, an artist of higher films and things like that. Because I found out from Andy Warhol, that's how he made money, doing
Mm-hmm.
drawings for magazines, and newspapers. So I would do drawings with pen, and then they would take a photostatic copy of it and then manipulate the lines and make them darker and things and use them in their advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I started doing even more so with ballpoint pens, charcoal pencils, and even more so with Sharpie markers because the density of the line is maintained well in the digital realm.
Mm-hmm. This was from our
And even
class,
now,
one
it's
of our
easier to make.
classes.
Which one? Let's
Uh,
see.
the
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're doing the
this,
T. So then
mm-hmm.
that one, it was all done with marker, but I scanned it into the computer. And that's the results. You can play with the line quality, the spec quality, the darkness and lightness, all these things you can play with. And they have more than just Photoshop, Cork Express, or Illustrator as
Mm-hmm.
design packages now that's worthwhile and how would you say powerful peripherals to do these type of manipulations that I'm suggesting and talking about when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to doing something by hand. You see, yeah, even the lips around the t-shirt there, if you go back up, Nadine, even the lips around that one right there, the gray t-shirt, those lips were drawn, you see? And then I
Mm-hmm.
use them as elements in certain designs. If a person wants a logo, I use those lips for things and
Mm-hmm.
those teeth for things, you see? And you
Mm-hmm.
can place anything in between them and on them when you scan them in. So did I have to draw out that whole idea right there? No,
Mm-hmm.
all I had to do was just pick the drawing that I did, put them together, and then put that together with the keep creating.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and then now we have a full idea. So now if you look through everything that we got there, you see, now you can see what was being done. The flag there, that's being scanned in. You see,
Mm-hmm.
the on the t-shirt, the yellow front, I took the design from that black and white flag and we put it on the black t-shirt in yellow.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Yeah.
Oh,
And all
this
that
one.
is
Mm-hmm. Go
no,
ahead.
the black and white flag one.
Mm-hmm.
See the black and white flag in the poster?
Right
That one
here.
there. That design that's on the t-shirt in yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So the black lines were made yellow. So that
Mm-hmm.
in this way, any color that shows on the t-shirt shows through in the white areas.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
See? And that's where those black lines come from. You can
This one
see
I
it in the
was
market. Mm-hmm.
why is this is taking a little while to load. I'm trying to see if I can
Mm-hmm.
pop this in here.
That's the other one up top there.
There you go.
There you see, and that's the piano grooves one.
Yeah.
So I have a piano that I did, and I put no background. So just the
Mm-hmm.
black lines is there. You see,
Mm-hmm.
and then that means that any T-shirt that you put it on, the colors of the T-shirt is going to show through with the black.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you see what we did with the 24/7, 365. Keep creating. There's a
Mm-hmm.
white knockout in the inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. So that it doesn't matter what color you put it on, it's always going to show up like that.
Nice.
You see? So these are some of the design elements. If you look at some of the marker landscapes, yeah, the cityscapes. Like if you look at that bridge one right there that you just touched, that one there, that's
Mm-hmm.
the New Jersey Transit bridge
Mm-hmm.
for the train that goes from Philly to New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey, New York. That's that New Jersey line,
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey Transit line. The other one, so you can, go somewhere everywhere and then just do a quick marker drawing. The ones that's underneath the bridges. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you
This one
see.
was interesting too.
Oh,
Tree
yeah,
of
that
life.
one's called The Tree of Life. That one was done in collaboration with a lawyer friend of mine, Olivia Stoner. So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Olivia Stoner because that image still garners attention. And that was when I was really, how would you say, around the October Gallery a whole bunch. I'm still connected to the October Gallery, but I'm doing more work from my studio right now. But
Mm-hmm.
this was with collaboration with my lawyer friend, Olivia Stoner. And she was just making mention to an idea about what the Tree of Life had meant to her. And then
Mm-hmm.
all I did was take her idea or thought, and then we worked it together. I did the visual of the baby and two other elements in there of
Mm-hmm.
what the Tree of Life would look like. And
Mm-hmm.
this is one that, a lot of people enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tree of Life, everybody, done with a friend of mine's, Olivia Stoner, for the idea, because we were just sitting in the gallery just talking. And she said, you know what, Don, I bet you in your line work, you can do something that I've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, yeah, what's that, Olivia? She was like, something like the tree of life, like that would show life. Well, this concept is out there when you use natural forms in nature to show things, but,
Mm-hmm.
take it a little bit further now.
Yeah.
Just like here with this one here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With that one there, all I did is just go to the L stops, and
Mm-hmm.
just ride underneath it.
Is
And
this
right underneath.
in K&A?
Yeah, this is the Frankfurt side now.
Uh,
That's the Frankfurt Avenue side,
mm-hmm.
right when it turns into from Kensington to Frankfurt.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go to the location and you can stand right where I was at to be able to see these scenes. And that's what I do. I'll just go out and, just start drawing. People to see me. So I use that as an opportunity to meet and greet people live.
Mm-hmm.
Tap their phones and then I have the information. These are live, tangible people at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still surveying the land and
Mm-hmm.
using what's around me to create from
Awesome.
it.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. The link is in our show notes. This is
And it's more to come.
Don. Yeah, it's more to come, but definitely he's over at Printify. And the link is there and you can check out. And if there's something
And
that
you
is
can,
of interest to you, you can
yeah,
purchase it there in a safe environment.
yeah, all forms of credit cards and all the new forms of how you would pay is accepted on the page,
Mhm.
everybody.
And this is how
And
you can support Don Stevens of Don Stevens Art for what he does and what he brings to the table. We definitely love having him here in this collaborative environment to get you to create. But also, here's an opportunity to show your support by.
lastly, I would like to say for those, thank you for the support of those that you have gone to the Cash App, or even the recent people from the park, the Elder Park, that have donated to me, or not really donate, give me pledges of support to be able to keep on buying supplies for those individuals that may not have it when I do classes. So I
Mhm.
thank you for everyone that has pledged the support there. And hopefully one day I'll be trying to do the thing where possibly if you pledge something, we can get you like a t-shirt or something
Mhm.
as a thank you.
Mhm.
So I'll work on that in the future, everybody. But for right now, thank you to all of those that did support. And let's keep creating and moving forward, everybody.
Let's keep creating, everybody. We definitely went over 2 hours. Big
Yeah,
time. We're like almost 2:10. We want to thank you for
yeah.
joining us here at Let's Paint and Draw Along. We went through um, a nice little approach called taking something from nothing, which we
Hmm.
did, and we had fun with it. If you followed along with us and you sketched out your taking something from nothing, um, definitely share. Now, if you feel like you don't want to share publicly, that's why we have the Facebook group. It's private, and you can say, "Hey, I didn't want to put it out in the whole world," but you have the group there. Otherwise, please pay attention. Where we go live, we're going to try to push that out to where you are, but our main goal is to get you to join our page at facebook.com/Don and Nadine. Come here and subscribe. And we want to just stay connected and keep you posted on things that are happening, where Don is, where I might be, that kind of thing. We love and appreciate you and all of your support. And we just want you to keep creating.
Yeah.
We want you to, that was a little, but it's really a big keep creating, everybody. Yes. So take care. Have a wonderful rest of the Sunday, this Father's Day. And we hope to see you in the Throwback Wednesday. It's going to get a little creative. Pay attention. All right. I'm telling you, pay attention. Thank you so much and be well. Peace. That's right. That's right. Keep it going. We got that going on because of the something from nothing. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.